What is up? All right, listen, this is exciting. We are awaiting President Donald Trump. He's going to be making remarks. We hear it's about AI. We hear it's about AI, which is artificial intelligence. No, not Joe Biden. Actual artificial intelligence and some big investment. But here's the exciting thing is that Donald Trump, they say it's an infrastructure announcement. I've heard it's an AI announcement. I think it's both. I think it's AI infrastructure. I think what Donald Trump is going to be doing is he's going to be announcing that a whole bunch of rich guys from Silicon Valley who want to dominate AI are putting like 100 million or 100 billion, probably 100 billion. Yeah, it's probably a lot of money. They're going to be putting a lot of money into AI infrastructure because, as Donald Trump has said, and if you know anything about AI, it's very expensive. It requires a lot of energy. It requires a lot of electricity. I don't know much about it myself, but it's like mining Bitcoin. All I know is that when you mine Bitcoin, you've got to have these computers and servers running like 24/7, and so that requires a lot of stuff. And a lot of cash. So anyway, that's what Donald Trump is apparently going to be talking about. It's an infrastructure AI type situation, and we'll bring it to you live here as soon as it starts. As soon as he comes out, we'll bring it to you. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, AI, who cares about that? Or infrastructure, that's boring. But no, it's not, because here's what happens. This is Donald Trump's first real press conference of his presidency. Yes, of his second term rather. Yesterday he had the press in the Oval Office, and he was answering questions while he was signing the executive orders, and that was fun. But this is the first time you're going to see the media. You're going to see the media really invited to an event where Donald Trump is making an announcement, and then he's going to take questions. And yeah, there'll be questions about infrastructure, but then there'll be questions about other things too. And if I know Donald Trump, he will take questions until somebody literally drags him off of the stage. He will take questions until somebody literally drags him away from the podium. You may remember a couple of weeks ago in Mar-a-Lago, he did a press conference very similar. He was announcing that there was a new investment of luxury apartments, another $100 million or something that this guy came in and he was going to invest. And Donald Trump took that opportunity to answer questions about the hostages. He took that opportunity to bring Steve Witkoff up on stage. He took that opportunity to ask questions and answer questions really about everything. I think that may be the press conference, or if not, it was around the time of the press conference where he just off the cuff announced he wanted to buy Greenland. You may remember that little tidbit. It was one of those press conferences where it started off talking about an investment in some kind of infrastructure, some kind of whatever. And then it ended up with him going, oh yeah, we're going to rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which now is an actual thing. Fun fact also, it's snowing right now in the Gulf of America. It's snowing, which is weird because I'm here in DC and I just found out that I may be snowed out of Florida. Oftentimes when I travel to places like this, I get snowed in, but I'm going to be honest with you, never in the 20 years that I've lived there, never have I been snowed out of Florida. So we'll get to that here in just a minute. I did want to let you know though, that man, ever since Donald Trump changed the name of the Gulf of America, and ever since I started pimping these, and ever since earlier today, when I said, hey, go buy yourself a shirt, you guys have been buying up some shirts. The Gulf of America is now the best-selling item that we've ever had in the Mark Kaye shop. Gulf of America t-shirts, again, fashion colors. There's teal. If you're a Jaguars fan, there's purple. If you're a Vikings fan, there's army green. If you're an Army fan, all those kinds of things. There's this color for, I don't know what team that is. But anyway, we also have, light mode shirts as well. The light mode comes in, there's women's light mode, and then there's men's, there's gray, there's all kind of pink. If you like pink stuff, pink is a very fashionable color, and it's now a very masculine color. A lot of men are wearing pink. And then these mugs and things are very popular as well. So if you want to get a travel tumbler, if you want to get Gulfy, the official mascot of the Gulf of America, then by all means, go to Mark Kaye shop. Don't forget to use coupon code TrumpWorld. That'll save you a bunch. That'll save you a buttload, 15%. You can buy some Trump meme coin with that. Although I'll be honest with you, at this point, I wouldn't buy any more. Trump meme coin if I were you. But again, I'm not you, so I'm not going to tell you what to do with your money. All right, let's go see if this thing has started yet. I want to see. Let me go over here to the TV. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I do not see that it has started yet. It has not begun yet. But we'll keep it up because, like I said, the other thing is with Donald Trump, and this is something that we remember. This is something we learned and we remembered and we loved about President Trump. In fact, you know what? I don't want to do this, actually. I want to do this a different way. That's something that we learned about Donald Trump, of course, the first time around, and something that we know a lot about is that Donald Trump may not be the most punctual person He may schedule, not that Joe Biden was either. He may schedule something for, a particular time, and it ends up not being that time. It may be 15, 20 minutes later. But that's okay, because that gives us all an opportunity to hang out and chit chat. And I think that I don't know what, for whatever reason, it looks like my internet's moving a little slowly, which is weird because I have my own personal internet, and it shouldn't be bogged down for any reason, but it looks like maybe it is running a little slower than I'm used to. All right, here we go. Let's see if there is a live video scheduled. No, they don't have. This is interesting. Let's go to home. Let's see what we can find out. All right, maybe we'll go to White House. Incidentally, I don't know if you noticed this, but they redid the entire White House YouTube. They redid the White House YouTube. It's got a brand new look. It's got a brand new logo. America is back. It's got this video from Donald Trump. America is back, which is fantastic. And then we'll go, let's see if there's a live scheduled. They don't have it scheduled here either. That's oh, look, they're doing shorts. This is great. Joe Biden did not do shorts, by the way, but Donald Trump, apparently, he's doing shorts on his. Let's listen in and see.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
I, Donald John Trump, do solemnly swear.
That I will faithfully execute.
That I will faithfully execute.
The office of President of the United States.
The office of President of the United States.
And will, to the best of my ability.
And will, to the best of my ability.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
Preserve, protect, and defend.
The Constitution of the United States.
The Constitution of the United States.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
All right, there you go. So the short that they have on there is just Donald Trump taking the oath of office without a Bible again, because John Roberts was in like some kind of massive hurry to get the thing done, so he couldn't even wait for Melania. Let me see if I can reload this. I'm not really sure why. Video issues. Oh, that's interesting. We may have to watch this somewhere else. Let me go one more place. And then we'll find, like I said, we're going to find the best feed for this, because there are different places where we can go. I don't know if video issues means it's on my end or if it's on. I just wrote span. But anyway, the most exciting thing. Let me put this on full screen for just a minute so you don't have to stare at me. The most exciting thing about these press conferences, like I said, is not the actual announcement. It's Donald Trump answering questions after the announcement. Now, one of the big questions we believe he's going to get, one of the things we believe that he's going to be asked about over and over again is this deal that they're trying to do. They're trying to do one or two spending packages. It's either going to be one big, beautiful bill, as Donald Trump calls it, or it's going to be multiple bills. And he's been huddled apparently at the White House now with the Speaker of the House, with the Senate Majority Leader. Mike Johnson is there, and John Thune, and they're trying to figure out a way to make this package work, whether it's going to be a big package or two little tiny packages. Apparently, there's no difference to some senators, but they just want to make sure that we're not paying for anything we don't want to pay for, and we're paying for everything that we need to pay for. And of course, Donald Trump is very invested in making sure that this happens, because he wants to get his stuff off the ground right away. He wants his legacy to begin immediately. And the longer he has to wait for that, the worse off it's going to be. The worse off it's going to be for him. So he needs to make sure that he's got it going on from the get-go. Now, in addition to that, we know that Donald Trump is probably going to be asked questions about some of the executive orders that are already starting to see, there's already some people that are complaining in the House of Representatives. There's already people who are in the courts too, that are taking Donald Trump to court. They're taking him to task. They're trying to legally argue that Donald Trump can't get rid of constitutional birthright citizenship. They're trying to argue that Donald Trump can't rename the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, which I totally think he should. They're trying to, and every time there's an executive order, of course, what happens next is, of course, the lawsuit, and that's where you're going to start seeing, some of these maybe not fall by the wayside, but they might take a little longer, perhaps because of the legal battles. And the legal battles are really the only recourse that the Democrats have at this point, because they lost everything. When you lose everything, let me close this. When you lose everything, when you lose the White House, when you lose the Senate, when you lose the House of Representatives by a slim margin, but they still don't have the House of Representatives, all you can do is take it to court. And fun fact, if it goes all the way to the Supreme Court, Well, they've lost that too because Donald Trump has appointed 3 out of 9 justices, and 6 out of the 9 justices are technically conservative, although they are all on different varying levels. They're on different varying levels of conservatism. That's what we're learning. Some of them are hyper conservative. Some of them are not that conservative as we thought. Some of them always can be reliably counted on to, can be reliably counted on to vote one particular
about
way.
35 minutes.
Or support President Donald Trump. Oh, I think I got something from C-SPAN here. President Trump delivers remarks on infrastructure. All right, this looks like it will be it eventually. So we're going to wait here and see if that's popping up. But then the other thing is with the Democrats, really all they can hope to do really is almost stall. It's one of those tactics where they don't want Donald Trump to get his way, so they just need to figure out a way to stall, and taking him to court is going to be the best way, I guess, for that they believe to do that. But we've got a Department of Justice, and Donald Trump has lawyers, and they are ready. Man, they are ready to go. They were ready, willing, and able on day one, which was yesterday, and they're going to do their best to make sure that everything Donald Trump wants done gets done. In the meantime, while we're waiting, let's talk about this prayer service. The Bishop of the National Cathedral. The Bishop of the National Cathedral was okay. Where is this coming from? Now hold on. Now I want to see. Donald Trump, maybe the video's here. The Bishop of the National Cathedral was giving this sermon, and I guess it was directly related to President Donald Trump because she was talking about LGBTQ kids and whatnot. I have it here. Let me pull it up here real quick because I want to play this for you. And then Donald Trump did react to it. He was asked to react to it, and of course he did because, why wouldn't he? But here's what she said earlier today at the National Cathedral.
I ask you to have mercy upon the people in our country who are scared now. There are gay, lesbian, and transgender children in Democratic, Republican, and independent families, some who fear for their lives. And the people who pick our crops and clean our office buildings, who labor in poultry farms and meat packing plants, who wash the dishes after we eat in restaurants and work the night shifts in hospitals, they may not be citizens or have the proper documentation, but the vast majority of immigrants are not criminals. They pay taxes and are good neighbors. They are faithful members of our churches and mosques, synagogues, wadara, and temples.
Okay. Now, the fun fact, Donald Trump cannot write an executive order to clean house at the National Cathedral, although I think he would want to. That was a pointed message. That was a member of the clergy she's a bishop of the National Cathedral, and she was taking the opportunity. Her name is... I forget. But she was taking the opportunity to speak directly to Donald Trump and J.D. Vance, who were both in attendance at the ceremony. Here was his response.
Mr. President, what did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the sermon? What did you think of the
What did you think of the service?
What did you think? Did you like it? Did you find it exciting? Not too exciting, was it? I didn't think it was a good service, no. Thank you very much.
Thank you, press. Thank you, press.
They could do much better.
They could.
Thank you, press.
They could do much better. What do you think? It wasn't that exciting, was it? I wasn't excited by it. Were you excited? Yeah, he's like, you guys were thrilled by it, right? You thought it was great because it gives you something to talk about. Donald Trump gets a pointed message from the Bishop of the National Cathedral live at a service about immigration and illegals and about LGBTQ plus rights and all those other kinds of things. Really kind of interesting. I want to make sure that let me just double check the feed one more time. Make sure that we're waiting on President Donald Trump. It looks like they're just showing the Marine at the door, which I guess is a good thing because you want to have the Marine at the door, which I don't know if anyone saw this, but there was video a while back, a couple weeks ago, of the Marine training at the door. And I want to, maybe I can play that for you here in just a minute. It was hilarious. They showed the Marine and he was being trained on how to open and close the door at the White House, which is a very important, look, it's an important job. it's a really important job. Because when Donald Trump comes out, you want the door to be open, and when he leaves, you want it to be closed. Let's pull this back up here and see.
It's about 35 minutes.
Yeah, so this is still. We're still just waiting. They're still just showing. I don't even know what they're showing. They're still just showing us, other stuff. These are all the greatest hits. Donald Trump's greatest hits. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. Let's go back to here. You know what? Let's actually go back to here. Is that the one I want? No, I want this one here. That's good. All right, so this is it. So they're getting ready for Donald Trump. They're getting ready for his remarks. And I still want to try to find it here. I think this would be a better place to watch it. But we're just going to have to wait and see. Now, the other thing that Donald Trump is going to be doing, or the other thing we believe that Donald Trump will be asked about, probably, again, he'll be asked about the drones, which is very exciting. He'll probably be asked a question about, he may be asked a question about, some of the other things that he's talking about doing with the border wall and border security. There may be some, I wanted to look for that video of the Marine. Hang on one second. And then, he's doing he's got other things planned for the next couple of weeks, including a trip a couple of trips. And again, this is something that I imagine the press is going to start talking about. This is something that I imagine the media is going to start delving into. He's got trips planned, we hear, for California, a fire-ravaged California, which is still, there are still blazes, I believe, in certain places. He's already ordered that water be sent down to Southern California through to the LA area where these wildfires are still burning. He's already kind of taken a federal tactic to use whatever he can to save the people and the property down in Southern California and make sure that these things don't happen again. Again, federal powers. That's all he's got. If Gavin Newsom doesn't want to do the work, if Karen Bass doesn't want to do the work, Donald Trump can't do the work for them. But that's something that he's looking to do. And I believe a trip to the area will probably be in order. In addition to that, Donald Trump has talked about going to China to meet with President Xi Jinping. We know that Donald Trump is buddy, or at least was at one point, with Kim Jong-un. We know that there's going to be some kind of back and forth with Vladimir Putin and Ukraine. So now that Donald Trump is back, don't think he's not, the first 100 days are important, but he only has 4 years, and he's fully aware of that. And he understands what that means. And he understands the importance of using the entire 4 years to the best of his ability and making sure that he's not wasting a minute. Because, like I said, he doesn't have that many minutes left, not in his life, but in his presidency. It's not like he got 8 years. And then keep in mind that there's a midterm election coming up in 2026. And that midterm election is something that Donald Trump knows could be, first of all, it's going to be a distraction. Midterm elections they start now. The midterm election has already started. The campaign, they're already fundraising. All these Congress people are already fundraising. People that want to run for governor. We know that Vivek Ramaswamy has stepped away from DOGE, the Department of Government Efficiency, because he wants to be the governor of Ohio. And I think probably the people of Ohio would like him to be governor as well. We know that he's looking for some kind of larger role in politics, and we believe that that's probably his next big move. And like I said, anyone other than DeWine at this point would be fantastic. Byron Donalds, another congressman who looks to be stepping away to run for governor of Florida. That would leave another hole in Congress here in the state of Florida. So there's a lot of back and forth and a lot of movement. But that really distracts the entire Congress and a lot of other lawmakers for a long time, because not only are they running for Congress and fundraising and trying to get out there and meet the people and meet the voters, the other thing that they're all trying to do at the same time is they're trying to make sure that they don't tick anybody off. And so every vote that they make is speculated against, and they've got focus groups, and they're thinking, if I vote this way, how does that affect my chances of being reelected in 2026? If I vote this way, how does that affect the entire Congress? Because Congress could shift hands. We've only got a 1 or 2 vote majority at the moment. When we get the other 2 special elections taken care of in April, it'll be a less tight, but still tight. And that's going to be something that definitely is a problem for Donald Trump if he wants to get anything done in his final 2 years. So every day has got to be planning ahead. Every day has got to be jam-packed, not just with incredible events and opportunities to make America great again, but also incredible events and opportunities for Donald Trump to maintain his power through his 4 years with the Senate and the House of Representatives. Keep in mind, we imagine there will also be probably some Supreme Court nominees. I mean, if you think about it, Clarence Thomas, Justice Alito, they're the two oldest members of the bench right now, and they are the two most conservative members of the bench. So if you're old and conservative and you've got Donald Trump in the presidency and you've got a Senate that's Republican, you know, it's a good time to start thinking about your retirement, because you can walk away knowing that you have a president who's going to pick a constitutional conservative and a Senate that's going to confirm. And I mean, really, at this point, what more could you ask for than a constitutional conservative on the bench that will be easily confirmed by a Senate? Pardon me, by a Senate that is...
Hi, everyone.
Oh, my God.
If you love traveling or are looking to get the most value out of your trip...
Sorry about that. I don't even remember what I was going to... Oh, yeah, that is easily confirmable by the Senate. So that's something else that we're going to be thinking about. That's going to be something else that I know is going to be on everyone's radars here before too long. I'm trying to figure out why they don't have this scheduled as a live on Donald Trump's platforms. Usually Donald Trump would have this scheduled as a live event on his White House platform or on his Donald J. Trump channel, but I don't see it on either one. So we're going to have to keep waiting for C-SPAN, I guess. I guess that's our only recourse at this point, which, you know, that's fine. We'll do what we have to. Maybe we'll check out. I hate to check out like, you know what? Maybe we'll go to Newsmax. See what Newsmax is doing. They may have the live feed as well, and we'll see what happens. Let me just log in here quickly. Other than that, it's going to be now, and keep in mind too that this is going to be the pace that we have. It's going to be all Donald Trump all the time for the next 4 years, and there's going to be press conferences called on a whim. There's going to be press conferences that are being called just out of the blue. There's going to be press conferences that all of a sudden you're going to be like, oh, what's Mark Kaye doing? Why is he going live? And that's because Donald Trump has called some other press conference. It's 24/7. There's no waiting. There's no days off. It's really interesting to see. And I know that some of the media already is getting exhausted. You've heard some of the complaints that the media has. They will talk about how, oh my God, we can't keep up with this pace. Oh my gosh, we can't. Donald Trump is a maniac. Donald Trump is just, he's wearing us out. We just don't know what to do. Donald Trump he's tiring, keeping up with him, reporting on him, having to write and publish stories and ask questions all the time. That's just something that wears the press out. And a lot of them aren't going to make it all 4 years. I can tell you that right now. Hey, look, we got a super chat from Jennifer Ortega. Jennifer, that is so nice of you. Thank you so much for the generous super chat. Remember, super chats are our life now. And so anytime we have an opportunity like this for you to get your message out there, and she didn't even write a message, she just threw the super chat out there. Jennifer, if you wanted me to say anything, let me know. I'll tack it on your message. But if you have something you'd like to say, if you'd like to support the show, if you have a comment or a question, anything at all, while we're waiting for President Donald Trump, you can go ahead and drop a super chat on YouTube or a Rumble rant. I think we got a couple Rumble rants in. And we will take a minute in between wait times to answer your questions and interact with Katriots all over the globe. Let me go to the Rumble here quickly. And I just got off the phone with Rumble about interacting or kind of intertwining the Rumble rants. Oh, we did get one. Ready to Rumble, $10. Here you go, Mark. Thank you, Ready to Rumble. That is very nice. Yeah, we're kicking it old school. I just have to show you my phone. That's the way we're going to do it. But I appreciate that. That is also very generous. And that puts Rumble in the lead. That puts Rumble in the lead right now by $5. So YouTube, if you are interested, if you have any questions whatsoever, if there's anything at all you'd like to know, if there's a comment you'd like to make, now's the time while we're waiting for President Donald Trump to go live here from the White House. I almost said from Mar-a-Lago. That's the other thing that it's really going to take me a minute. It's going to take me a hot minute to get used to that, because I'm always like, okay, Donald Trump's at Mar-a-Lago. Donald Trump's going to be speaking at Mar-a-Lago. But now It's Donald Trump at the White House. And that is really one of the most exciting things to say. Knowing that he's doing a press conference from the White House, knowing that he's meeting at the White House. These are things that make me happy. And I hope they make you happy as well. This is, look at this. Smart Scan, Mira Hardy. That's good. She got a little plug for her business. I like that. Yeah, that's a great way to do it too. If you want to plug your business, just put it right there in your profile. Sent $2. You are my favorite. Great coverage. Mira, thank you so much. I haven't even really started covering anything yet because this thing hasn't started, but I appreciate it. And I definitely appreciate your generosity and your support for the show. Everybody check out Smart Scan, whatever that is. It appears to be some kind of heart thing because, you got to scan your heart to make sure it's pumping. I don't even know. I guess the heart pumps, right? Yeah, that's not heart pumping. So you want to make sure your heart keeps pumping blood throughout your body. And I imagine a Smart Scan every now and then is good for that. Anyway, thank you so much. Thank you so much for that opportunity. Let me see. I'm sorry. I keep getting distracted. And again, I am my own producer. So I am texting and I am searching and I am Googling and I am doing everything live so that I can bring you the information that you need, the entertainment that you desire, and I can do it all. I can do it all on the fly. And again, I think here we go. That's door handling. I'm trying to see if there was one. I wish I'd saved the video. I need to figure out a better way of archiving funny videos. I know a lot of people have files of funny videos and memes and things that they save. I don't do that. I try to do it on Twitter, but even then what happens is, they get, they go down in the feed and they disappear. So I just have to keep researching and seeing if I can find it. And it doesn't look like I can find it. Anyway, if you come across it, it was very interesting. In the meantime, this is me vamping, by the way, while we wait for President Donald Trump to appear. And again, like I said, I was stressed. I wasn't stressing, but I was working diligently. I had a call at 3:30 with Rumble, and then I was working diligently to try to get everything set, and I wanted to get everything ready to go. And I was like, I got to make sure that I'm ready for when Donald Trump goes live. And then all of a sudden I realized I don't actually have to be ready when Donald Trump goes live because he's not going live at 4:00. He's on Trump time, and he's going to wait for, he'll call a 4:00 press briefing. And that means that the press will be in place. And that means that we will be going live. And that means that we will be, ready and willing and able, so that when he comes out to talk, everyone will be there and we'll all see him because that's really what he wants. But then he takes his own time. So if he is sitting in a meeting with Michael Johnson, if he is sitting in a meeting with John Thune, if he's sitting in a meeting with other congressional leaders or anybody, his staff, his appointments, Marco Rubio is now the Secretary of State. Maybe he's meeting with little Marco, who knows? But whatever he's doing, we know that he knows whenever he wants to come out and talk. We'll be sitting here waiting for him. C.A. Smirk, $2 super chat. Really enjoyed your inauguration coverage. C.A. Smirk, thank you so much. I hope you watched it somewhere other than YouTube because they cut it off. But no, it was really, it's really been a blast being here. It's really been a blast being here for, I'm going to be honest with you, for the inauguration. And even though I had, and again, and this is all I'm walking with, I didn't get to go to the rotunda. I didn't get to see Donald Trump, put his hand on the Bible, which no one did because he didn't. But I got my tickets. I got my portrait, right? We got the portrait of JD and the president and vice president. That's very nice. We got this official announcement, which is beautiful. We'll frame it all. I'll figure it'll take me a couple more super chats, but we'll definitely frame it. We've got the program and everything. We've got everything that was supposed to happen at the inauguration. And I'll be honest with you, I haven't even looked at this yet, but you can see everything it was in the program. It was all right there. There were paintings and it's like a little historical booklet, but whatever. Despite the fact that I didn't get to experience any of that live, it was still great just being here. And whenever you get, it's rare that you get this many conservatives, this many Donald Trump supporters, this many Americans who all feel the same way and are working and striving and thinking and concerned about our country. It's rare that you get this many people in such a small, close proximity. And it's fun. Whenever you get in the elevator, whenever you go to the bar, whenever you go to a restaurant, I just went and got a sandwich. And still today, everybody in the sandwich shop has their MAGA hats on because, of course, we may still be here for a couple more days. If you're going to Florida, like again, I may get snowed out of Florida, which is the weirdest thing to say, oh, look at this. The Truth Seekers of Norway sent 100 NOK. I don't know what that is. Earth is flat. Let's talk about that. No grass pressure without a container. Grass pressure cannot be next to a vacuum. Wake up. No solar system. No space. Love you all. God bless. I understood very little of that. The only thing I really understood in that whole thing was super chat. But Truth Seekers of Norway, I don't know, what is the equivalent of 100 NOK? What is the equivalent of, hold on, NOK, Norway, currency converter. Okay, so, it's a krone, pardon me. So 100 krone is $8.85. That's awesome. Thank you for the 100 krone. We really appreciate that. And good luck with all your endeavors on seeking the truth in Norway. This is fun. I'm just excited. To get these international super chats, which is fantastic. Oh, here's one from Gabby. Gabby L. Mark, I enjoy your channel. Been watching you since your radio show. How would you describe the Trump fragrance? God bless. Oh, fun fact. Hang on one second. I'll show you what I got here. This is great. I brought this with me. Typically, I learned long ago, whenever I'm in a place where I walk a lot or, I'm around people, for an time, my wife got me this like body spray, which like an Axe, but it's a different one. It's like an organic Axe. And I would carry that around. But this time I brought the Trump Fight cologne because it is very light. I did an entire video unboxing. Yeah. I did an entire video unboxing of this, which when I got just before Christmas. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you could probably see it if you haven't watched it already. But I did an entire video unboxing and it was really weird. It reminded me of my father. And it's a very light, it's not like a heavy musk. It's a springy kind of scent. And I grew up in North Carolina, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And it reminded me of, this is going to sound the weirdest thing. It reminded me of like the honeysuckle or some kind of scent coming out of North Carolina in the springtime. And it was really, it kind of takes me back to this house that I grew up in when I was 8 years old. I don't know what it is about it, but it's really nice and it's light. Like I said, it's not a heavy scent. Like you don't smell it and go, whoa, and your eyes start watering and that kind of thing. It's very, very nice. So I definitely recommend it. If you're with a guy who wants to smell like, like The Rock or some character or some guy that, like you would expect one of those guys to smell. If he wants to smell super manly, this is not like Macho Man cologne, but it's very good, decent, wholesome, everyday kind of man cologne. And it smells way better. I think I pointed this out in the video. It smells way better than Elon Musk's burnt hair, which was just god awful. That was Elon Musk's burnt hair. I mean, look, to be in his defense, it smells like burnt hair. And that's exactly what it was supposed to smell like. So if you take Elon Musk's burnt hair cologne and you throw it up against Donald Trump's fight cologne, I would 100% take Donald Trump's fight cologne any day of the week. The burnt hair cologne, and like I said, I believe I mentioned this also in my, you know what we're going to do? Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to watch the White House for now. We're just going to watch the White House. Where did it go? Now I just lost the White House. No, it just smells like, if you ever go to church and, there's like an old dude at church who, like an old man who maybe his wife passed away. So he doesn't actually, wash his clothes often and he smokes. That's what, that's what Elon Musk's cologne reminds me of. It reminds me of the old man at church who doesn't wash his clothes and who smokes. That's the best way I can explain it. Disney, a boiler up. Look at this. $5 super chat. Just remember all us hardcore Patriots when you win the Senate. It's the House. But don't worry. Listen, here's my plan. Patriots unite. Brandy, thank you so much. That is very generous of you. By the way, Brandy is one of our moderators. We have Brandy, Julie, and D, and they're our Patriot mod squad. And they are... and again, moderating for me must be the most annoying thing because half the time I just go live. I don't even tell anybody, but they're always there. They're making sure that the bots are gone. They're making sure that the spam's gone. They're making sure everyone's having a really good time. They keep pimping the links for the store and everything else. So they do a really great job. And then on top of that, you're throwing, I feel like I should be paying you, but I'll take it. I mean, I appreciate it very much. And it's the Congress. And fun fact, my goal is not to stop doing this when I'm in the Congress. Yes, it may not be at noon. It may not be at 4:00. I assume I'll have some work to do, but in the morning or in the evening, here's the thing. There's a guy named Tim Burchett. And Tim Burchett is from Tennessee. He's an old, crotchety kind of congressman, very conservative. I always play his videos whenever he makes them. And I was telling my buddy Aaron Bean, I said, you've got to do these videos. Like everyone in Congress should have to do these videos because he walks out every day. He'll walk out of Congress and he'll go, all right, it's Tim Burchett. I just walked out of Congress and we did this thing and it was horrible. And I just voted no because it sucked and whatever. And then he sees AOC. He goes, hey, girl. Or Nancy Mace, pardon me, rather. He goes, hey, girl. And then he's like, blah, blah, blah. And we're voting this down tomorrow. And I don't know what they're going to bring me tomorrow, but I know now I'm just going to hate it. So I'm going to vote no. Anyway, thanks for sending me here. And you feel like this guy hates his life and his job, but he doesn't. He loves it. And these videos to me they're fascinating. So I tell everybody, I tell Aaron Bean, I tell everybody, I go, you should do these every day. You should get a TikTok account. And I know that half of them voted against TikTok. Rand Paul literally just started a TikTok account. And I'm like, you got to get to the people. They don't want to have to watch the news. They don't want to have to watch C-SPAN. They don't even want to have to watch me. But if you can just do one of these videos every single day on your Instagram, on your YouTube, on your TikTok, whatever, it's so entertaining. And it really lets people know you're there. It lets them know what you're doing. So my goal is to do, like Matt Gaetz had a podcast, The Firebrand. He did it constantly when he was in Congress. He did it. He never stopped. Now he's got a show on TV, so I think he stopped. Ted Cruz has a podcast. I think it's weekly. I think Ted Cruz's is weekly, but it's, a weekly podcast is better than nothing. And it gives Ted Cruz the opportunity. He has a great co-host, a guy named Ben Ferguson, who I know. And it gives Ted Cruz the opportunity, love him or hate him, to sit down and say, here's the issue. Here's where I stand on it. Here's why I voted this way. Here's why I voted against it. It's a genius thing. And the media, the more and more technology becomes easier to use, like anyone, like I'm in a hotel room, right? I'm basically doing what I do every single day from my home studio that I set up for thousands of dollars. But I'm doing it on the road. And it sounds, I've gotten it down now where I believe the sound quality is just as good. Sure, the lighting's a little off, the background's different, but you get to a point where this took me maybe 20 minutes to set up. So there's really no excuse why anybody rather who wants to do this can do this. And I definitely think when you look at the media and how many problems we've had with the media, I really think that we've got some issues that need to be addressed. And the best way to do it is for these elected officials to just do it. CA Smirk, did you already discuss the pastor from Trump's session this morning? Yes, CA Smirk, we did mention the pastor we played the clip and how she was pinpointing Donald Trump. She was calling out Donald Trump in the actual sermon, which that happened in a TV show. I want to say it happened in a TV show. I'm trying to remember which TV show it happened in. I want to say it was, I forget. I forget which one it was now, but it was in one of them. And whichever one it was in, I was a big fan of. They wanted to send a message to somebody who was in the audience. So they went to the rabbi at I forget. Anyway. Oh, I think maybe it was Succession. I don't know. It doesn't matter. Listen, we're also getting some Rumble rants on Rumble. So we want to shout out our Rumblers too. KC Soup, Catriot 20. Mark, tell me where you got your 47 hat. Also, thank you for all you do. Oh, KC Soup, you're so welcome. I got my 47 hat in my Christmas stocking. So there, I woke up in the morning and boom, all of a sudden I walked out. I actually got like 3 hats in my Christmas. So Santa brought it, shoved it in my stocking, and he knew how great it was. Good. It's such a hit. Every time I wear it, first of all, it makes me look good. I look tough. People don't talk to me because I look scary and menacing because I throw on my shades too. Like here, I'll show you. This is how I've been walking around. Like anytime where is it? Wait, where am I? Oh, they're there. So anytime I leave the hotel room for whatever reason, and I could, if I'm just going Oh, hello. Even if I'm just going downstairs to like get a cup of coffee or something like that, I do this. Watch, ready? This is me. This is me. This is what I do. This is me walking around DC all week. I mean, tell me that you would avoid me at all costs. It's amazing, and it makes me look and feel a lot cooler than I am. So that's kind of a fun thing. But no, but the hat, I imagine you can get them. It's an auto hat. It's made in Malaysia, by the way. Someone asked me earlier where my clothing is sourced from, and we do our best to source our clothing from places that aren't China. Oh, Myanmar. Did I say Malaysia? I'm sorry, Myanmar. Myanmar's good. We like Myanmar. So, anyway, but it's an Otto hat. OTTO. And as you can see, it's pretty fly. It's pretty fly, just like me. We got another one. Okay, great. Oh, look at this. We're rolling in it, man. Catriot through and through from SNJ Green 13. Thank you, SNJ Green 13. Thank you for being a Catriot through and through. I really do appreciate that. I appreciate all the Catriots. And we did. It's so funny because I forget now. I don't forget that, podcasts are international. I get that. I know how podcasts work. I know that you get, but I forget in my mind, having worked in radio for so long, like way too long, even longer than I should have. Having worked in radio for so long, you never really get away. Like in radio, for example, I was in certain cities and I knew that if I left a city, odds are I was no longer not famous, I don't want to say famous, but not well known, like not recognized, a recognized local personality. Let's just put it that way. So in Jacksonville for years, whether I was on the first station I was on or the second station, when I left Jacksonville, the odds of me getting recognized somewhere, slim to none. When I traveled to Dayton, for example, or when I traveled to Tulsa, which I never actually got around to, but I will, that kind of thing, different story. Then yes, you might get recognized. Every now and then, like I would be at Myrtle Beach or I would be here in DC and someone would be like, oh, I know you. Well, now that we just do the podcast and the YouTube and the YouTube, like we've got a couple hundred people watching on YouTube, couple thousand watching on Rumble. Rumble numbers are skyrocketing, and this it's a constant inflow, and it's not just the same 500 people watching. So, for example, if you look, in fact, let me check on YouTube. This is a little behind the scenes that probably nobody cares about, but it leads to a point. Which is, where are we? So, if I look at YouTube right now, on the YouTube, apparently it says we have. Let me go to my channel. It says we have 201 people watching, but that's not like the same 201 people watching forever. They're coming and going. So at the end of this, by the time the broadcast is over, there's going to be a couple thousand that have come in and out, stayed for a couple of seconds. So you do get to be, fairly recognizable, and they're coming from all over, as evidenced by the truth seekers of Norway who dropped 100 kron in the chat, which we really do. Which we really do appreciate. So by the way, I see a lot more people watching from somewhere. Where is everybody coming from? If there's only that many on, hold on. If there's only, let me check extra. Maybe we've blown up on Facebook again because I've complained to Facebook so often about them throttling my content. I'm kind of curious actually. We have 281 on Facebook. So that makes about 500. Where's everybody else coming from? Are they on Twitch? Maybe they're on Twitch. Maybe they're on X. Oh, we have 1,000 people on X. Oh, what's up, X? How's it going? So everyone's on X. I guess they're all waiting. They're all waiting to see Donald Trump's big announcement. We are too, which, by the way, is now 44 minutes after the time that we thought it would be. But again, I never thought it was going to be on time in the first place. So there you go. All right, let's get back to X for a minute, because what I like to do is I just like to scroll through X every now and then just to see. And if people, if everyone's like, hey, where do you get all your news? Where do you get your information? I basically get it from X. I'm not going to lie to you. I basically go through X because that's where the news is. That's where the news is posted fastest. That's where the comments, you get a lot of news and information from the comments. You get, for example, a lot of, by the way, the confirmation of the ICE raids. Let's talk about this too, because this is important. I want to share this with you. This is something about, this was Tom Homan 3 hours ago. This was sometime earlier today, but the ICE raids are coming, and that is something that we knew. It was scheduled for, I heard the first ones were going to be on Tuesday. The Tuesday was going to be a great big day for ICE raids. And that's when, especially in places like Chicago, Tom Homan and his staff were going to really take charge. Here's what he said earlier today on, I believe this is Fox News.
Based on your initial schedule, that today roundups of criminal illegal aliens and the process of deporting them would begin. That seems to have been put on hold for a little while. When can we expect that to happen? Where will it begin?
No, it started.
It has started.
ICE teams are out there as of today. We gave them the direction to prioritize public safety threats that we're looking for. So we've been working up the target list. There was some discussion about Chicago because the specific operational plan was released. So we had to look at and reevaluate, does this raise officer safety concerns? And it does. Mm-hmm. But we've addressed that, and teams are out there effective today.
Okay, so by the way, this is a horribly stupid question because what happens? What happens? You're not going to have somebody say, "Oh yeah, we're starting this day, this time, this place with these illegals." That's never going to hope to God that never. Tom Homan's not that dumb. But I mean, they ask these questions constantly. Hey, have you started the raids? When are the raids starting? When are we going to see some of these people get deported? And it's one of those things. It just annoys me, but they always ask that. And Donald Trump's much more blunt about it. Donald Trump will say something like, "What a stupid question." He wouldn't say it to Fox, but he would say it to NBC or something. He'd go, you really think I'm going to tell you? You really think I'm going to broadcast across the world my plans to deport illegals and where we're going to attack so that they can get on their phones and they can call all their muchachos and say, "Hey, here's what's happening"? No, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that at all. Trump overhauls Biden appointments. Okay, so a lot of this is just more of the same. But this is a great picture, by the way. I don't know if you guys saw this. This was the photo. The caption is now "Good riddance," but this is Donald Trump and JD Vance with Usha and Melania, and they're waving goodbye to Joe Biden as he flies away for the final time on Marine One. And it's not Marine One, fun fact. It's just a helicopter at this point. Donald Trump is the president. So if Donald Trump's not on the helicopter, it's not Marine One. And Donald Trump is not, fun fact, on this helicopter. If Donald Trump's not on the plane, it's not Air Force One. And Donald Trump was not on the plane when it flew to California. Oh, look, here's live. This is live from the Florida border. Look at this. This is crazy. Man, I wonder, that is wild. Welcome to the free state of Florida, the Sunshine State, Governor Ron DeSantis. That is not 95. That's got to be like I-10 or one of the other smaller highways. But that's definitely out in the Panhandle area, which is where this. But it's accumulating. It's not just snow; it is accumulation of snow. Holy cow! I wonder if I'm going to be able to get home tomorrow. Who's honking? That is what. Okay, this is one that I'm going to, for sure. I have never been snowed out before. There we go. This is fun. I like kind of just going along. I like kind of just going through Twitter. And look at this cute selfie someone wrote. These are the brothers, Eric and Baron. Oh, this is the cake cutting, which was which I can never unsee Donald Trump with a sword. It kind of makes me want to get it. I think, you know what? You're going to see more people with swords now. In fact, next time I cut a cake, I'm thinking I might use I might use a sword. My wife has a birthday coming up. My daughter has a birthday coming up. Maybe we'll do sword play for the birthdays this year. Maybe that'll be my new thing. I'll get a, our cakes aren't as big as Donald Trump's inaugural cake, but, why is this not fitting? Wait, what did I do? Why is it not fitting now? TV. Oh, there we go. But whatever size cake, it could be a cupcake. I'm going to get one of those big swords like the Marines carry around all the time. And I'm just going to start like doing the ninja. I'm just going to start hacking it up like a ninja whenever somebody puts a cake in front of me. That's going to be my new thing. I'll be the sword guy. I may also do it for like barbecue as well. Ribs and steak and things like that. I do have one of those big knives that I don't even know if it's like Turkish iron knives or whatever it is, some kind of Madagascar, whatever, hand hammered. They just get you on, but it is a really amazing knife. It really, really is an amazing knife. And I'm very excited by it. All right. So we're still waiting for Donald Trump, and we are waiting for him to come out, and he's going to give his first press conference of his new presidency, not including the press conference, the impromptu press conference he gave yesterday from the Oval Office when he was signing, because he was signing all the documents, he was signing all the stuff. But now what he's doing is he's got an organized press conference where he's announcing a major initiative. It's a major initiative with AI and infrastructure, which go hand in hand. And then I imagine he's going to take photo or questions. I mean, he's Donald Trump. That's what Donald Trump does. He always takes questions. In the meantime, we have a Rumble rant from DFJ 57. By the way, YouTube is now totally getting it handed to them by Rumble. To God be the glory. He's responsible for this. Thank you, Mark, for hosting the show. Thank you so much, DFJ 57. I really appreciate that. And it's my pleasure hosting the show. And the more Rumble rants and super chats we get, the longer I can host the show. You rock. $10 on Rumble from Mr. Shanbuilder. Thank you, Mr. Shanbuilder. I appreciate it. I don't know what a Shan is, but I appreciate you building them. Casey Soup Catriot. Okay, Mark, can you find out if Pam got the 47 hat from Amazon? I really want to get one. LOL. Also, welcome to the Midwest. LOL. Yeah, thanks. And it's interesting because, like I said, and I've had the worst travel experiences this year. I mean, this isn't the first time that I've had a flight delay. I've had a flight delay. I got caught up in the whole Delta debacle coming back from Wisconsin. You remember right after the RNC when Delta's entire system shut down and nobody could get anywhere. It took days for us all to get home. There was another time when I had to change my flight too. I forget what time that was. And this is now the third time. I'm just not going to travel anymore. Now that Donald Trump has been inaugurated, and I know that we're in good hands again for the next few years, I'm just not going to go anywhere else. I'm just going to sit at home and do this from my house because it's a lot. I was going to say it's a lot warmer, but it's actually not. Right now there's snow on the ground. So it's very interesting. I'm watching the map too. I'm keeping an eye on the map. Let's see what else we got here. Let's go back to the home. Here we go. This is breaking. Senator Rand Paul, the Honorable Donald J. Trump, President of the United States. Dear Mr. President, I write to urge you to follow through on your stated intention to commute the sentence of Ross Ulbricht. Oh, this was a big story too. A lot of people were concerned that Donald Trump did not commute the sentence or pardon Ross Ulbricht, the founder of Silk Road, from his life sentence. And that's something I think he said he was going to do that. I'm pretty sure. I'll just keep on smaller. Mr. Ulbricht's sentence is vastly disproportionate to his crimes. He is condemned to spend the rest of his life in prison because he was held liable for the drugs and illegal goods bought and sold on his platform. Yet, the worst drug sellers on the site receive significantly more lenient sentences, for example, and he goes in and out. Today, Mr. Ulbricht is a model prisoner, now a 40-year-old man who just spent his 12th Christmas in federal prison. Mr. Ulbricht devotes much of his time helping his fellow prisoners by offering classes teaching math, science, and yoga. You have previously indicated that you would grant a full commutation of Mr. Ulbricht's sentence, and I respectfully request that you do so. Thank you for your consideration. So that is something that that Donald Trump has not yet done. Although, keep in mind, he's been in office for like a heartbeat, like a day. So maybe that's just something. Maybe that wasn't on his first day to-do list, but he'll get to it hopefully before too long. Here's a snowball fight on Bourbon Street, which is probably drunk people. I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny that these are drunk people, but if it's on Bourbon Street, that's just a guess. But again, when was the last time you saw a snowball fight live on Bourbon Street? This is the kind of wacky weather we're getting. This is the thing. This is how great Donald Trump is as president. Not only can he shut down the border and bring peace back to the Middle East and get the hostages released, but he can get snow in places where it's never snowed before. This is one day after he withdrew from the Paris climate treaty. Maybe this is their revenge. Maybe they're like, oh yeah, we'll show you, America. We're going to turn the wacky weather machine on the South. And we're going to make it snow in Louisiana, home of Speaker of the House Mike Johnson. We're going to make it snow in Florida, home of President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're like, we need to target all the home states. We need to show them the power that we have here at the Paris Climate Accords. And we'll see who wants to withdraw from what. Here's another one from Walton County. Welcome to the free state of Florida, the Sunshine State, Governor Ron DeSantis. Now, this typically, you don't usually see these cop cars sitting there with their lights on. Usually they're hidden. But I think they're trying to like slow you down so that you stay safe. Anyway, this is Walton County, Florida. The sheriff's vehicle covered in snow, sitting by the snowy sign. Welcome to the free state of Florida. This is also great. I'm also gonna save that one for later. Let me just read. I think I might do a TikTok on the snow in Florida. Breaking: Trudeau warns Trump will need Russia, China, or Venezuela for resources if he enforces a 20. Oh, I thought this guy was done. Why are we still listening to him? What is he even saying?
Trump said that he wants to usher in a golden age for the United States. That will require more steel and aluminum, more critical minerals, more reliable and affordable energy, more of everything to run the U.S. economy full steam ahead. Canada has all those resources. The alternative for them would be more resources from Russia, China, or Venezuela. Canada is a safe, secure, and reliable partner in an uncertain world. President Trump said that he wants to
First of all, I have so many problems with what he's saying. It goes both ways, dude. Like, you're going to need the United States to buy all that stuff from you. And first of all, it's an empty threat, because Canada is not going to stop doing business with the United States of America. It would be first of all, we're their largest trading partner. Second of all, it would be more detrimental to their economy than to ours. They would have to start exporting things. They would have to start importing things. They're not going to find anywhere near the kind of customer or trading partner that we are in close proximity to them. It's never going to happen. Also, this guy's going to be out of power in like a week. He's already resigned. They're already going to call a special election. We know it's going to be Pierre Poilievre, so I'm not really sure why. I don't really know why he's still making these empty threats. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, they've got, now everyone's having. Oh, here's Tim Burchett. We were just talking about this 1 hour ago.
Random thought.
This is the guy I was talking about. These are the videos that I would like everyone to start doing.
Hey everybody, Tim Burchett. A couple of random thoughts since we're not doing committee work just yet. It's cut and stop, not cut and spend. When I was in the state legislature, I was fortunate enough to be on the finance committee. It's finance before you get on it, then you get on it, it's finance, by the way. And I remembered I had a bill and it saved $6 million. And people were just like, wow, this is a really good bill, Burchett, thanks, man. And I remember I was sitting next to a Democrat buddy of mine, and he said, that's a great bill, Burchett, saving $6 million. And he said, I know just where we need to spend it. And I've always thought about that, because it's cut and save, not cut and spend. So let's be careful. We start talking about these cuts, and then we load up the Pentagon or Department of Education or some of these other bureaucracies, and we need to cut and save, not cut and spend. Anyway, random thought. Appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for sending me here. Let's take our country back.
I mean, that's a great video. That's a great video. That's a great story. And I'm telling you, I'm going to share this one too. And I wish all members of Congress would do this. But he's right. That's a perfect example of the difference between the mentality with conservatives and Democrats, and also a lot of conservatives and quote unquote Republicans, is they go, hey, look, this bill saves $6 million. Great. We can move that money over here. And he's like, no, we're going to not spend $6 million here. And we're actually going to not spend $6 million anywhere else either. It's just we're just not going to spend anymore. We're going to save that money. We're not going to spend that money. It's not being reallocated anywhere. It's just, let's move on with our lives and let's do something else. So that's kind of funny. Also, that's funny how they call it finance instead of finance. Where is this? This is in Texas. This is Biloxi. Oh, this is Mississippi. Pardon me. This is Biloxi Beach in Mississippi. Missississino. P.I. Mississinopi. Okay, good. Sorry, I just came up with that off the top of my head. But look at this. There's palm trees and snow. That's something you don't see every day. Only in Donald Trump's America are you going to see palm trees and snow. Trump is about to announce a $100 billion AI infrastructure investment, Project Stargate, per Fox. Yes, we're waiting for that. Oh, wait, hold on. It says soon now, Trump to speak from the White House. So let's go see if I can pull that up. What's happening here? Nope, I still don't have it there. Let's see if we can find it. Here, I'll keep looking around for it. You guys keep sending super chats. Oh, look, we got another one. Jennifer Ortega, $5 super chat. That snow picture can't be real. It was 100% real. Let me go back here. Let me pull you back up. 100% real, or at least, okay, fun fact. I don't actually know that it was real. I grabbed it off of the internet, and I've never, ever, as far as I know, grabbed something off the internet that wasn't 100% accurate. Okay, why does this... I don't know. I got to clear my cache or something, because every time I go to YouTube, it pulls up that same video of that same weird thing. And I just want video of Donald Trump speaking. Let's see if we have it up on the White House official. Oh, here we go. Here we go. We will begin shortly. This is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for my entire life. That's dramatic. It's actually what I've been waiting for like an hour. But I've got to put it on a different thing here. Where is it? TV watching. There we go. Look at that. Ta-da. Now we're in business. We will begin shortly. President Trump giving remarks regarding U.S. infrastructure investment from the White House. Anyway, Jennifer Ortega, thank you again for another. Jennifer's in for $10 now. Well, bravo, man. We really do appreciate that. We appreciate everyone's generosity, and especially our Rumble ranters, who, again, I'm not able to share on the screen, but we are able to hopefully shout them out as we get those in. And we are going to bring you this press conference as soon as it begins. Donald Trump, it's really interesting because Donald Trump set up in the little room. I forget what it's called, but it's got the two doors and the books in the back, and they've got the podium. And this is where Joe Biden would come out and he would make announcements. This is where he announced Ketanji Brown Jackson, for example. He would make other announcements here. And then he would wander off toward the door and someone would yell a question and he'd turn around, and he'd like throw an answer out there, or he'd come back to the podium, which always made everybody I know very nervous in the White House. And now Donald Trump, because that's the thing. He's back. He's not at Mar-a-Lago, which I'm going to be honest with you. It's a stark contrast. It's a stark contrast. If you see, which in this, you'll see it in just a minute. If you see the contrast between where Donald Trump used to speak and where he speaks now, yes, we would much rather have him at the White House. But Mar-a-Lago, man, with the gold and the ornate backgrounds and the multiple flags and stuff, it was really something else. It was really something else to witness and something else to enjoy. In the meantime, let me remind you that just yesterday, Donald Trump made a proclamation or signed an executive order changing the name of the Gulf of America, where it's currently, or Gulf of Mexico, where it's currently snowing, to the Gulf of America. And if you have not yet procured your Gulf of America t-shirt, now would be a phenomenal time to procure your Gulf of America t-shirt in any one of these. Like this is the traditional blue. This is the one. This is like the first one that we designed, the main one, because it's got that. It kind of looks like the ocean. It's got the blue and the red. Somebody pointed out that Cuba's gone. They're like, you deleted Cuba, and I was like, I did delete. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wanted the compass. Cuba kind of got in the way. I'm not gonna lie. It didn't make for a clean t-shirt because Cuba is like right here, right? And there was the compass, and then there was the A, and I was like, I'm sorry, Cuba, you're not gonna make the cut. So yes, correct that this is not like, don't navigate by this map. It's a t-shirt. Okay, it's not just don't navigate by it. Just it's a t-shirt. Put it on. Laugh. I kept Key West. I for a minute there, I don't know if you can see it. It's in there. The keys are in there. For a minute there, I was almost going to have to chop off Key West to get the A to fit, but I did some finagling and I got it all in there. So I apologize to any Cubans who are upset, but if you're in Key West, just know that you're fully represented. You can probably see it better on this one. Yeah, there you go. There are all the keys. Right there. And again, this is all, it's not just, there's the yellow one, which by the way, I look at this and I go, God, that's bright. But other people look at it and go, God, that's amazing. Because we've sold a lot of these yellow ones. Like, I mean, I'm a shocking number of the yellow shirts have been gone. And then pink, everybody loves a good pink shirt. Now the hoodies too, these are good quality hoodies. I'm wearing the same, it's a big, thick, warm hoodie. This is from the Mark Kaye Signature Collection, but the hoodies are great quality and they're warm. And my hoodie, I've said this before multiple times, does not have the pull tie or the tie because I don't like those. They get in my way with the microphones. I'm not one of these that I need to tighten I don't ever do that. So I just cut it off because it just, to me, it just is pointless. But if you like it, it's got this beautiful blue, light blue tassel. If you get the dark gray one, it's got a light gray tie. Same thing with the black. And the hoodies are so comfortable. They're so comfortable. They're so warm. It is just, and again, they look really good. And if you like the white hoodie, boom, we got the white hoodie, and we have the gray hoodie as well. All kinds of different sizes. I don't know what the sizing is like. People ask me the sizing. So I had a woman write to me. I'm not going to share any names, but she ordered one. She said it was too small. And so one of two things happened. Either they run small, although this is a large and this fits me. This is really roomy. Either they run small or she runs big. I'm not really sure which one it is. But maybe just be honest. Make sure you're honestly assessing your size and know that they'll shrink. They are cotton, so they may shrink as well. And you know what? I'm not judging it. I'm just saying, you're going to have to, because we're going to have to soon institute a no returns policy on sizes, because it just happens too often. People are like, I got it and it was too small. And I'm like, are you sure you ordered? Were you just being, were you planning for, after your New Year's resolutions were complete? And then, of course, also, don't forget, we have other fantastic items, including the Trump official portrait collection, which this is a snappy shirt too. This is Donald Trump's official portrait. This is the dark tee. And we have it in all that. We got it in navy blue, which is great. We've got it in the gray, which is great. We've got it in another gray, the burgundy, the green. Everybody loves these. And look, this mug is very popular too. What happens is people will order this inaugural portrait travel mug. And I will tell you that on one side is Donald Trump's portrait. On the other side is the official Mark Kaye Saves the Republic logo. So if you're a fan of President Donald Trump and you're a fan of Mark Kaye Saves the Republic, then this is for you. Then you're going to love this, because you get Donald Trump on one side and Mark Kaye, the official logo, on the other. So there you go. All right, we're still waiting for President Donald Trump. www.markkaye.shop, by the way, is where you go if you're interested in any and all of those items. www.markkaye.shop.com. You can open that in a new browser. You can order it, and it'll be shipped out almost instantly. I'm not going to say instantly, but almost as close to instantly as we can get it. And you'll have it before you know. Let's see what else we got going on here. So the big breaking news apparently is Rand Paul asking Donald Trump about Ross Ulbricht. So that'll be something that we follow along. And I don't know if Donald Trump's going to announce it. Maybe someone will ask him about it in the press conference. Because like I said, after Donald Trump makes an announcement, there's always a press conference. And that's where he takes questions about pretty much anything. Anything goes at a Donald Trump presser. No question is off the table. No question is out of the realm. He may not answer it. He may be like, I'm not going to answer that, but you can ask it. And people usually do. And again, it'll be interesting to see. The other thing we really need to watch for in this scenario is how the media reacts to Donald Trump, because you may remember they were aggressive. There we go. They were very aggressive in his last presidency. I mean, Jim Acosta led the charge on that one. Nobody in the media wanted Donald Trump to be president until they realized, wow, our ratings are going to skyrocket. Nobody in the media wanted Donald Trump to be president until they realized, wow, we could write some really clickbaity headlines and all retire rich off of Donald Trump. Nobody wanted that until they realized what a blessing Donald Trump was to the entire media industry. And now it'll be interesting to see if they are a little more respectful. I mean, again, it is only his first day, so there may be a grace period, although probably not. They may, the honeymoon may not be over yet. They may still be, handling him with kid gloves, or not really sure how, and don't forget, Donald Trump's super popular, not just the popular vote, but also the electoral vote. And as a result of those two things, the press is very unpopular. Their ratings are tanking. So it may be something that they realize they need to change their tune a little bit when talking to the most popular president of the last 100 years or so. G.A. Odom sent a question and a a Rumble rant for $5 on Rumble. What is your thoughts, and what is the big picture for Vivaldi Ramaswamy running for governor of Ohio? Gary O. Vivaldi Ramaswamy, by the way, is my favorite composer. I loved his Four Seasons. Vivek, I think is who either you mean Vivaldi and you want to talk about music, or you meant Vivek and you want to talk about the governor, Vivek Ramaswamy is the word on the street is that he's going to announce a gubernatorial run. Now, in Ohio, much like the rest of the country, Vivek Ramaswamy is very popular. Well, or at least he was very popular till he started opening his mouth about H1N or the H1B visa. H1, yeah. It's H1N1 is what I was saying. Those are the masks. H1B visa. And that started a whole kerfuffle. Then Susie Wiles apparently came in and told everyone to shut up and stop tweeting, which they did. And now he was primed, or he was in a position, I believe, to be the potential pick. Okay, I don't believe it, but a lot of people said that that Governor DeWine was going to choose or was considering Ramaswamy to be the senator. A lot of folks said, "Oh, Donald Trump is pushing for Vivek Ramaswamy to be the senator from Ohio," and it went to Houston. He went to the Lieutenant Governor Houston, and I knew. I'd spoken to a couple people. We had Mehek Cook on the show, and she also had interviewed for the position, the role of senator from Ohio. She didn't get it. And, in talking to her and in talking to a couple of other people on the inside, I kind of had the idea, same thing with Ron DeSantis. I kind of have the idea with these governors, and I don't know if it's just ego or actually, I do know it's all ego. They don't want hints, suggestions. They don't want to know your thoughts unless they ask you. They don't want you to call them up and say, who would be great? Because they want to take the credit. They want to be the ones who get the credit from the person they choose for, helping their career, really skyrocketing their career almost instantly. They want to be the ones that get the credit for that. They want to be the ones that can take all the credit for whatever happens to that person in the future. Same thing happened with me back when I was in radio, when we first started my talk show. Like everybody who I had a phone call with took credit for my show. It was as soon as the show took off and we got on multiple stations, everyone was like, our show was my idea. And it was insane. It was across the board. And then they realized apparently they didn't want me anymore. But that was across the board. That's how that worked. And the same thing is true in politics, probably even more so. So Mike DeWine didn't want anyone telling him, here's who I think you should pick. And that goes true even with Donald Trump. So I knew as soon as Donald Trump mentioned Vivek's name, I didn't think it was going to be him. Now, that means, though, that Vivek Ramaswamy is free to run for governor. And anyone would be better than Governor DeWine. Governor DeWine, you may remember, he's the one that had the vaccination lottery where he was giving away college scholarships to kids who got vaccinated. Like if you got vaccinated, that was your entry. And I don't know if you got multiple entries for multiple vaccinations. Probably you did. But he started giving away cash. They called it the Vax-A-Million or something. And that was a horrible idea. It was an awful idea. And it wasn't really, in the vein of what the rest of the conservatives in this country were preaching at the time. It was a very pro-Fauci attitude. He had a couple of other things that people in Ohio just didn't like about him. Whenever I went to Ohio, I heard people complain about him. And during his last election, there were two guys who were running in the primary. And the word on the street was, because it was Mike DeWine and then these two challengers, both of whom were way more conservative than Mike DeWine, both of whom were better choices for Ohio than Mike DeWine. The problem is both of them wanted to be governor. And when it was brought to their attention that if one of them dropped out, I forget their names. That's how quickly these things go. I forget their names, but the word on the street was that if one of them dropped out, and they weren't splitting the vote three ways, but they were only splitting it two ways, that either one of those challengers would have handily beat Mike DeWine. Mike DeWine would have been gone. He wouldn't have been the governor. But when they heard that, neither one of them wanted to drop out. They wanted the other guy to drop out. So what happened was the Mike DeWine vote went to Mike DeWine, and the anti-Mike DeWine vote was split between these two guys, neither one of whom wanted to drop out. And so Mike DeWine became governor again, which leads me to believe that anyone but Mike DeWine would be great for Ohio and would win fairly easily, especially somebody young and hip and exciting like Vivek Ramaswamy, who, look, the best thing Vivek Ramaswamy probably did for his career was run for president knowing he wasn't going to win. Because he got put on a national stage. He got put on platforms with Ron DeSantis and Nikki Haley. He took every opportunity he had. He said crazy, outlandish things, which weren't crazy and outlandish to us, but they were crazy and outlandish to anyone who was playing the game of politics. He sided with Donald Trump. He reiterated Donald Trump's policies. He was loud. He was brash. He had the little He held up the little, notepad and the legal pad, whatever it was. And he had this, cool head of hair and this weird name. And everybody fell in love with him. He went around to college campuses, the youth vote. He got out the youth vote. It was insane. So he knew full well he wasn't going to beat Donald Trump. He knew he wasn't going to beat Ron DeSantis or Nikki Haley. But look where he is now. He ended up getting a cush position at Doge, working alongside Elon Musk for like a week until he dropped out to now heed the call to run for governor. So the best thing that he's got two things going for him. He's got momentum and he's got name recognition. Well, except that one guy, except that you called him Vivaldi. So maybe he doesn't have name recognition. Maybe he's just got momentum. Maybe he could, I guess he needs a little bit more name recognition if people are still calling him Vivaldi Ramaswamy. Anyway, listen, this is exciting. This is exciting. Are there any more questions? If you have a question, drop it in the Rumble rant or drop it in the super chat and we will get to it. Like I said, we're still waiting for President Donald Trump. As you can see, we will begin shortly with President Trump giving his remarks regarding U.S. infrastructure and investment live from the White House. And again, followed by, I assume, some questions. I assume he's going to have some questions after that are going to be, they're going to run the gamut. They're going to be all over. They're going to be people in the media asking questions about things that they care about, things that maybe they believe their listeners or their viewers care about, things that they just want to they want to get a rise out of Donald Trump. You never know what they're going to come up with, but you know that Donald Trump's going to come up with some pretty creative answers. That is, if this meeting ever starts or this announcement ever begins, and they still keep showing the room where Donald Trump set up, but keep in mind, this isn't his only meeting today. Wait, what happened to my background? Why was my background moved? Oh, no. This isn't his only meeting today. He's also meeting with House leaders and Senate leaders because they've got to make sure that the budget reconciliation package is passed. And that way they'll have money to spend on what Donald Trump wants to spend it on. They'll have money to build up the border wall. They'll have money for all these infrastructure packages. They'll have money so that they don't have to put tax on tips or tax on Social Security or any of these other things that he promised during the campaign, which he's going to get done. It's just a matter of, can he get it done quickly? Can he get it done the way he wants? Or is he going to have to get creative? And is it going to take more time? And again, time is not something Donald Trump has. He no longer has 8 years. He has 4 years. And after that 4 years, it's going to be up to somebody else. Let's go back to X for just a minute and see if anything else has popped up. Maybe there'll be some more snow pictures coming in. Oh, look at this. Blizzard conditions in New Orleans now. Whoa.
That was the first.
Look at this. That is crazy.
That was the first.
Wow. That is just some wild. I'm just going to read, like I said, I'm going to do something on Snapchat a little later on. So I'm reposting these. These are all phenomenal. This is a once in a lifetime. What does it say? A once in a lifetime moment in the French Quarter. Snow accumulation has reached 4 inches and still climbing. That is truly, it is beautiful. It's not something you would ever think you'd see in New Orleans, but at least these people are lucky enough to get to see it. That's the other thing too. This is funny. I've lived in Jacksonville, Florida for 20 years. And I'll be honest with you, I'll be a little miffed if I miss the snowfall because I'm in DC, where, by the way, it's been snowing. It's been snowing for a long time. Oh, look, this person's got a tape measure. They're at 7 inches. I'm just gonna read, like, I'm retweeting these again so that I'll know where to get them when I need to go look for them. Did you guys see this one? This was Barron Trump. They say he said something to Donald Trump, or to Joe Biden rather, and it made Joe Biden just freeze up. I have to watch this again. I saw this briefly. Oh, what's playing picture? Oh, what did I do? There it is. He walks over. He says something to the two of them, and then Joe gets this weird look in his eye. And Jill looked at him. I don't know if Jill looked at him because she thought he was like cute or something, but anyway.
Nice to see you.
This is kind of fun. They're updating their command. Oh, here we go. It's starting.
Well, thank you very much, and it's an honor to be here today. We have first full day as president. We're back, and we had a great first term, but we're going to have an even better second term, and I think we're going to do things that people would be shocked at. We're starting off with tremendous investment coming into our country at levels that nobody's really ever seen before. And they're very happy with the fact that I won the race and that they feel confident in their investments. And it's big money and high quality people. So my first day back from having a nice life, it's my honor to welcome three of the world's leading technology CEOs. And in the case of Larry Ellison, it's well beyond technology. He's sort of CEO of everything. He's an amazing man, an amazing business person. But to announce the largest AI infrastructure project by far in history, and it's all taking place right here in America. As you know, there's great competition for AI and other things, and they're coming in at the highest level. We're joined by Oracle Executive Chairman Larry Ellison, SoftBank CEO, my friend Masa Yoshi-san, and CEO of OpenAI, and I would say by far the leading expert based on everything I read, Sam Altman. So that's great that you're coming in together. That's a massive group of talent and money. Together, these world-leading technology giants are announcing the formation of Stargate. So put that name down in your books, because I think you're going to hear a lot about it in the future. A new American company that will invest $500 billion at least in AI infrastructure in the United States, and very, very quickly, moving very rapidly, creating over 100,000 American jobs almost immediately. This monumental undertaking is a resounding declaration of confidence in America's potential under a new president. Let me be a new president. I didn't say it, they did. So I appreciate that, fellas. But it'll ensure the future of technology. What we want to do is we want to keep it in this country. China is a competitor and others are competitors. We want it to be in this country, and we're making it available. I'm going to help a lot through emergency declarations, because we have an emergency. We have to get this stuff built. So they have to produce a lot of electricity, and we'll make it possible for them to get that production done very easily at their own plants if they want, where they'll build at the plant, the AI plant, they'll build energy generation, and that will be incredible. But it's technology and artificial intelligence, all made in the USA. Beginning immediately, Stargate will be building the physical and virtual infrastructure to power the next generation of advancements in AI, and this will include the construction of colossal data centers, very, very massive structures. I was in the real estate business. These buildings, these are big, beautiful buildings. They're going to employ a lot of people. And physical campuses in locations currently being scouted nationwide. They're making their choices of locations. I think they have their choice. I'd like to ask Larry, Sam, and Masa to say a few words and just talk a little bit about what they're doing, and if you have any questions, and then we'll go into a couple of other subjects also. But this is, to me, a very big thing. $500 billion Stargate project. I think it's going to be something that's very special. It'll lead to something that could be the biggest of all. So, Larry, maybe we'll start with you, and we'll go down the line. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay, so
Thank
it's
you,
a
Mr.
$500
President.
billion.
We certainly couldn't do this without you.
It's a $500 billion
It
package.
would simply be impossible. AI holds incredible promise for all of us, for every American. We've actually been working with OpenAI for a while, and with Masa for a while. The data centers are actually under construction. The first of them are under construction in Texas. Each building's 500,000 square feet. There are 10 buildings currently being built, but that will expand to 20, and other locations beyond the Abilene location, which is our first location. The kind of applications that we're building, to give you an idea, maybe the most charismatic and the one that I think touches us all is electronic health records not just maintaining electronic health records, but by looking at electronic health records, understanding the condition of doctors, better understanding the condition of their patients, and being able to provide healthcare plans that are much better than they otherwise would be. A doctor in Indian River Reservation would be able to see how a doctor at Memorial Sloan Kettering would treat the patient, or a doctor at Stanford would treat the patient. We actually provide all of that information, all of that guidance to the doctors who are treating cancer patients or patients with any other kind of disease, made possible by AI. I'm not going to take a lot of time. I'm going to pass it to Masa, but this is a very exciting program for Oracle to be a part of. Thank you.
Thank you.
Did somebody fall?
That's good. That's great. I feel tall now.
Somebody fall? What happened?
Thank you. Well, Mr. President, last month I came to celebrate your winning and promised that we will invest $100 billion. And you told me, oh, Masa, go for 200. Yeah. Now I came back with 500. Because this is the, as you said yesterday, this is the beginning of golden age of America. This is one great example, I think, right? We wouldn't have decided to do this.
I think so.
This is the beginning of golden age. We wouldn't have decided unless you won. And yesterday we agreed, we signed to make this happen.
That's great.
Because of this day.
Very nice.
So we would make this happen. We would immediately start deploying $100 billion with a goal of making $500 billion within next 4 years, within your term. Yeah. Right? Because of your success. So we are very, very excited to do this. And our partner is, of course, SoftBank, OpenAI, Oracle, and additionally investing partner with MGX. On top of that, we have the technology partner, NVIDIA, and of course, Microsoft has been very, very supportive to SAM and continue to support all our success. This is not just for business. As Larry said, this will help people's life. This will help solving many, many issues, difficult things that otherwise we could not have solved with the power of AI. I think AGI is coming very, very soon. And then after that, that's not the goal. After that, artificial super intelligence will come to solve the issues that mankind would never ever have thought that we could solve. Well, this is the beginning of our golden age. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Fantastic.
That guy gives serious Mr. Miyagi vibes.
I don't have too much to add, but I did want to say I'm thrilled we get
wax
to do
on,
this
wax
in the
off.
United States of America. I think this will be the most important project of this era, and as Masa said, for AGI to get built here, to create hundreds of thousands of jobs, to create a new industry centered here. We wouldn't be able to do this without you, Mr. President, and I'm thrilled that we get to. I think it'll be an exciting project. I think we'll be able to do all of the wonderful things that these guys talked about. But the fact that we get to do this in the United States is, I think, wonderful. So thank you very much.
Could you just say one word? I hear so many positive things about what it's going to do for medical research and for solving things, cancer and all the different problems. How will AI help us with the fight against the various problems, diseases, etc.?
These guys can maybe share more about some of the work they're doing there. I think they'll jointly be some of the leaders about driving progress here. But I believe that as this technology progresses, we will see diseases get cured at an unprecedented rate. We will be amazed at how quickly we're curing this cancer and that one and heart disease, and what this will do for the ability to deliver very high quality healthcare, the costs, but really to cure the diseases at a rapid rate, I think will be among the most important things this technology does.
So he doesn't know. He didn't really. He said we're going to cure diseases. He just didn't say how. Here we go. Larry Ellison knows.
We're currently working on. Should I step on this? Okay. All right.
Larry Ellison.
No. I'm not that tall. I'm not that tall. I'm not tall. Thank you, Mr. President. One of the most exciting things we're working on, using the tools that Sam and Masa are providing, is a cancer vaccine. It's very interesting. It turns out, I'll be quick, all of our cancers, cancer tumors, little fragments of those tumors float around in your blood. So you can do early cancer detection. If you can do using AI, you can do early cancer detection with a blood test. And using AI to look at the blood test, you can find the cancers that are actually seriously threatening the person. So we can, again, cancer diagnosis using AI has the promise of just being a simple blood test. Then beyond that, once we gene sequence that cancer tumor, you can then vaccinate the person, design a vaccine for every individual person to vaccinate them against that cancer. And you can make that vaccine, that mRNA vaccine, you can make that robotically, again using AI, in about 48 hours. So imagine early cancer detection, the development of a cancer vaccine for your particular cancer aimed at you, and have that vaccine available in 48 hours. This is the promise of AI and the promise of the future.
Great, thanks.
So they're going to find little cancer particles in our blood using AI.
Yeah, just 1 second. We'll finish up. But these are highly respected guys. I was shocked with Larry because I don't even think Larry does this stuff. You did a very good job for a guy that doesn't do it much, right? But he's so respected, and the group.
He was so respected until 2 seconds ago when Donald Trump said, "You don't know what you're doing."
For Larry to be here and do this is very unusual because he doesn't do this stuff. He doesn't need it. He does, and you don't need it, do you? Huh? You don't need it. But I think it's an honor.
But thanks.
To
you don't need to do it, but thanks for the $500 bill.
Honor that this group, these are the top people, that they're going to do it, and they're going to do it here, and we're going to make it as easy as it can be. A $500 million Stargate project comes in addition to a separate pledge between $100 and $200 billion from, as we know, from Masa, that we talked about before. Also $20 billion from DMAC, which was great. And we have many others that are coming. Some I just announce it. It's easier, but with some, I know them, and they're so highly respected, I'd rather do it this way. Many would like to do it this way, but we're letting the world know what's happening. This is money that normally would have gone to China or other countries, but in particular China. In total, before the end of my first full business day in Washington in the White House, we've already secured nearly $3 trillion of new investments in the United States, and probably that's going to be 6 or 7 by the end of the week. Tremendous amounts of money are coming in for many things other than even AI. AI seems to be very hot. It seems to be the thing that a lot of smart people are looking at very strongly. And our country will be prospering like never before. I think that's true, and it's going to be the golden age of America. As I say, yesterday we had the most ambitious, action-oriented day of any administration in history. No, there's never been a first day like yesterday, as you know. I signed a sweeping slate of executive orders to stop the invasion of our borders. I launched a government-wide effort to defeat inflation and bring down the cost of daily life and bring down the cost of energy, magnificently bring it down. And when energy comes down, Larry, I'd say generally speaking, when energy comes down, everything else comes down. The prices of food and the prices of everything else come down. Energy is that's the big baby. And we declared a national energy emergency to drill, baby, drill, our term that we use. We're going to drill, baby, drill like never before. We ended destructive DEI mandates across the federal government and returned our country to a merit-based system and a common sense system. As you know, the Supreme Court gave us a decision on merit, where things in this country can be based on merit now instead of a lot of different rules, regulations, and things that really put our country at a big disadvantage. We permanently stopped government censorship and restored free speech. That was signed yesterday. We renamed the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America. Sounds so beautiful, the Gulf of America. And returned the name of a great president, William McKinley, to Mount McKinley. They took off the name. And he was actually a great president. He was a very, very successful businessman. He ran for governor of Ohio. He won and did a great job as governor, ran for president, and he won. He was assassinated, ultimately, in his second term, unfortunately. But he was the tariff king, and I don't think he was as bad as I am. I think I believe in him even more than him, but he believed in him very strongly. And he raised massive amounts of money. Our country was at its richest from 1870 to 1913. We had the most. That was when we were the richest, relatively speaking. We were the richest during that period of time. That was tariffs from other countries. And our administration's moving with unprecedented urgency and speed to confront every single crisis facing us, and we'll get the job done. And again, I want to thank Sam and Masa and Larry for being here. It's an honor to have them. And we'll take a few questions if you want.
You would agree that
Here we
it's
go.
never acceptable to assault a police officer.
Sure.
Right? So then if I can, among those you pardoned, DJ Rodriguez, he drove a stun gun into the neck of a D.C. police officer who was abducted by the mob that day. He later confessed on video to the FBI and pleaded guilty for his crimes. Why does he deserve a pardon?
Well, I don't know. Was it a pardon? Because we're looking at commutes and we're looking at pardons. Okay, well, we'll take a look at everything. But I can say this. Murderers today are not even charged. You have murderers that aren't charged all over.
True.
You take a look at what's gone on in Philadelphia. Take a look at what's gone on in L.A., where people murder people and they don't get charged.
True.
These people have already served years in prison, and they've served them viciously. It's a disgusting prison. It's been horrible. It's inhumane. It's been a terrible, terrible thing. I also say this. You go to Portland, where they wrapped police officers, shot police officers, nothing happened to anybody. You go to Seattle, where they took over a big chunk of the city, and people died. Portland, a lot of people died. Wait a minute. And you go also, take a look at Minneapolis, because I was there and I watched it. And if I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city wouldn't even exist today. People were killed and nobody went to jail. So these people have already served a long period of time, and I made a decision to give a pardon. Joe Biden gave a pardon yesterday to a lot of criminals. These are criminals that he gave a pardon to, and you should be asking that question. Why did he give a pardon to all of these people that committed crimes? Why did he give a pardon to the J6 Unselect Committee when they burned and destroyed all documents which showed that they did what was wrong, not me? Wait a minute. Why did they give a pardon to all of his relatives? His brother, who made millions of dollars, to all these different people, he gave pardons. That's the question you should be answering. All right, go ahead. Yeah, please.
Can I just follow up really fast? Steve, can I just follow up on that really fast?
No. That's enough. Go ahead.
You said you will.
Tell us about your meeting with Speaker Johnson, Senator Thune. Did you reach any conclusion on this one big?
Pretty much. I think we have a good situation now. It's been in some ways made simpler by Los Angeles because they're going to need a lot of money. And generally speaking, I think you'll find that a lot of Democrats are going to be asking for help. So I think maybe that makes it more one-sided. I think we're going to do very well. Look, we're going to take care of Los Angeles. I'm going there. I'm going to North Carolina, which has been abandoned by the Democrats. And I'm going to North Carolina, very importantly, first. I'll be there on Friday. And then I'm going from there to Los Angeles. And then I'm going to Nevada. And I'm really going to Nevada to thank them for the vote because we won Nevada overwhelmingly. And that's usually a Democrat vote, and I just want to go there to thank the people of Nevada for the big vote. So we'll be making that. Yeah, please.
Mr. President, the leaders of the Proud Boys and the Oath Keepers were freed following their pardons yesterday. At the time back in 2021, you urged them to stand back and stand by. Is there now a place for them in the political conversation?
Well, we have to see. They've been given a pardon. I thought their sentences were ridiculous and excessive. One of the guys took down a flag that was an anti-American flag, and he was given years in jail. I don't know the exact number, but he was given many years in jail. I thought it was very excessive. And at least the cases that we looked at, these were people that actually love our country, so we thought a pardon would be appropriate, yeah.
Mr. President, is it also true in your conversations with Republicans today that you asked them to consider recess appointments for cabinet officials?
I think, yeah, if it's needed. I don't think it's going to be needed. Marco, as you know, got passed overwhelmingly with 99-0, which is pretty amazing. Marco's going to do a great job, Secretary of State, but he just got, I guess he was the first one and just got approved. That's some vote, 99-0, and the nothing was a vote that he would have gotten if we wanted to do it. But you know whose vote that was, who's doing a great job right now as vice president.
Did you also talk about some sort of a trade or a deal involving wildfire relief in extension for a debt?
Well, what I really want to have done, I was talking about this with the guys back in the Oval Office. Los Angeles has massive amounts of water available to it. All they have to do is turn the valve, and that's the valve coming back from and down from the Pacific Northwest, where millions of gallons of water a week and a day, even in many cases, pours into California, goes all through California down to Los Angeles, and they turned it off. It's off now. The valve goes, it turns toward the Pacific Ocean, and all that water goes pouring into the Pacific Ocean. If they did what I told them to do, they wouldn't do it because politically they didn't think it was good. I think it's great politically. I think they're dead politically. What they've done, they've destroyed the city.
That's true.
What they've done to that city is unbelievable. The sprinklers, their sprinklers in there like these right here that you see, none of them had any water in them. They didn't have any water. The fire hydrants, 40% of them had no water. The brush was just dry. Everything was dry. The sprinklers on the lawn weren't allowed to even be used. So, you know, everything was dry, and it was an inferno. They created an inferno. So we're demanding that they turn the valve back toward Los Angeles right now. It's not even believable that they haven't done it. Just so you know, they have a valve, and it turns like, think of a sink, but multiply it times many thousands of times the size of it. It's massive. And you turn it back toward Los Angeles. Why aren't they doing it? They either have a death wish, they're stupid, or there's something else going on that we don't understand. But we want the water that they're throwing away to be used for California. And that includes the farmers of California. You know, when you drive up north, you see all of the land. I couldn't believe it. I was with Devin Nunes when he was a congressman and some other congressmen from the area, and we're driving up, and we're on the highway, and I keep looking at these farms, and the land is bone dry, and then you'd see an acre, about an acre or 2 acres, with the most beautiful green plants growing in it, the most beautiful it's rich stuff. And you look at the soil, and it's so rich. That soil is almost the equivalent to like Iowa soil. It's phenomenal, but it's got no water. But the reason it has no water, I said, do you have a drought? No. I said, what do you mean you don't have a drought? Look at the thing. It's dry as a bone. The reason you have like an acre is because they say you can farm 1 acre, but no more, because they didn't want to waste water. But they throw the water into the Pacific Ocean. These people are crazy. So we're going to be issuing an executive order demanding that they immediately let that water come down through California. Farmers, even people living in Beverly Hills. Now, those people have been a lot of them are wiped out. Believe it or not, you know, they were having restrictions, Larry, you know about this. They wanted to restrict you to 38 gallons of water a day. That sounds like a lot, but it's not. When you're a rich person and you like to take a shower, 38 gallons doesn't last very long. And they have all this water, and it's really good water. Up high, Pacific Northwest, some comes in from Canada. A nice country, by the way, comes in from Canada, and it comes all the way through California, and they're restricting it. You even have the half pipes, you know, the half pipes. They cut pipes, big ones, bigger than this room, and they're going all the way down, and they're bone dry, and they could be loaded up with water. No, but isn't it incredible that they don't do it? And it's to protect the Delta smelt. It's a fish that's doing poorly anyway. But I said, how are you protecting the Delta smelt by not giving it water? It's a fish. It needs water. Nobody can answer that question.
Fish need water, don't they?
On TikTok, Mr. President.
Well, let me do this first.
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
Say it?
Are you open to Elon buying TikTok?
I would be if he wanted to buy it, yeah.
And on your inauguration,
I'd like Larry to buy it too. I have the right to make a deal. So the deal I'm thinking about, Larry, let's negotiate in front of the media. The deal, I think, is this. And I've met with owners of TikTok, the big owners. It's worthless if it doesn't get a permit. It's not like, oh, you can take the U.S. The whole thing is worthless. With a permit, it's worth like $1 trillion. So what I'm thinking about saying to somebody is buy it and give half to the United States of America, half, and we'll give you the permit. And they'll have a great partner, the United States. And they'll have something that's actually more valuable because they have the ultimate partner, and the United States will make it very worthwhile for them in terms of the permits and everything else. But so think of it, you have an asset that has no value or has $1 trillion value. It all depends on whether or not the United States gives the permit. So what I'm saying is let the United States give the permit, and the United States should get half. Sounds reasonable. What do you think?
Sounds like a good deal to me, Mr. President.
Yeah, he can afford it too.
I don't know if I like the government controlling social media, but we'll see.
Sending the message that assaulting officers is okay with these pardons.
No, the opposite. In fact, I'm going to be letting 2 officers from Washington Police, D.C. I believe they're from D.C., but I just approved it. They were arrested, put in jail for 5 years because they went after an illegal, and I guess something happened where something went wrong. And they arrested the 2 officers and put them in jail for going after a criminal, a rough criminal, by the way. And I'm actually releasing. No, I am the friend of police, more than any president that's ever been in this office.
More than 400 of the people that you pardoned, though, assaulted officers. So I want to ask you about the Vice President, J.D. Vance. He said, this is a week ago, he said, if you committed violence on January 6th, obviously you should not be pardoned. Why is your Vice President wrong?
Well, only for one reason. They've served years in jail. They should not have served, and they've served years in jail, and murderers don't even go to jail in this country. And we had 1,500. We have 16 under review. As you know, we commuted about 16 of them because it looks like they could have done things that were not acceptable for a full pardon. But these people have served years of jail. Their lives have been ruined. And in many cases, listen to me for a second. Stop interrupting. They've served years in jail.
He doesn't apologize.
And if you look at the American public is tired of it. Take a look at the election. Just look at the numbers on the election. We won this election in a landslide because the American public is tired of people like you that are just one-sided, horrible people in terms of crime. You don't talk about all the people that have been killed and what happens to those murderers. Murderers get no time. You take a look at some of these DAs. They go after political opponents, but they don't go after people that shoot people in the street. They're caught. They know where they're living. They know everything. They don't even go up to pick them up anymore. They just let them live there. They know all about it. They have their pictures. They have the tape of the shooting, and they don't even go up and you're talking about this. No, we pardoned people that were treated unbelievably poorly. In the history of our country, there's never been anything take place like this. They're still looking for them, but they're not looking for the murderers, the people that are killing everybody. We are, though. And we're getting them out of the country. We just started that. We're getting them out of the country, and they're going to be gotten out of the country fast. They came in illegally from jails and from prisons. They killed many people. Some of them killed many people. About 50% of them killed more than one person. They were released into our country. That's what we're focused on, not the kind of nonsense you're talking about.
You called for a ceasefire
ceasefire in
That's
Ukraine,
the guy.
if
That's the new Jim
Vladimir
Acosta.
Putin doesn't come to the table to negotiate with you, will you put additional sanctions on Russia?
Sounds likely.
And do you think that the war should be frozen currently? Along
The war
with
should have never
Belarus?
started. If you had a competent president, which you didn't, the war wouldn't have happened. The war in Ukraine would have never happened if I were president. But that couldn't happen because the election was rigged. Yeah, go ahead.
Debate within your orbit over whether or not to keep or eliminate H-1B.
I love this, Fred. This is what I was waiting for.
Do you want to keep H-1Bs or do you want to get?
Well, I like both sides of the argument, but I also like very competent people coming into our country, even if that involves them training and helping other people that may not have the qualifications they do. But I don't want to stop. And I'm not just talking about engineers. I'm talking about people at all levels. We want competent people coming into our country. And HB1, I know the program very well. I use the program. Maitre d's, wine, experts,
sommeliers,
even waiters, high quality waiters. You got to get the best people. Now, then you go into people like Larry, and he needs engineers, and Massa needs, and this gentleman needs engineers like nobody's ever needed engineers, right? So we have to have the quality people coming in. Now, by doing that, we're expanding businesses, and that takes care of everybody. So I'm sort of on both sides of the argument, but what I really do feel is that we have to let really competent people, great people, come into our country, and we do that through the H-1 program.
To impose tariffs on Canada and Mexico in an effort to force negotiations sooner on USMCA?
No, it's really not on USMCA. It has nothing to do with that. They've allowed both of them, Canada very much so. They've allowed millions and millions of people to come into our country that shouldn't be here. They could have stopped them, and they didn't. And they've killed 300,000 people last year, my opinion, have been destroyed by drugs, by fentanyl. The fentanyl coming through Canada is massive. The fentanyl coming through Mexico is massive. And people are getting killed, and families are being destroyed. I mean, the son gets killed, and the family is a basket case for the rest of their lives. I mean, I've seen mothers that thought they'd heal. They never heal. They say it gets worse with time. It gets worse with time. They lose their boy. They lose their baby. They lose their young daughter to fentanyl poisoning. And I had that talk with President Xi the other day, too, of China. I said, we don't want that crap in our country. We got to stop it. I would have stopped it. I had a deal with him where he was going to give the maximum penalty, which in China is the death penalty for drug dealing. And he was all set. He was going to give the maximum penalty to fentanyl dealers. If they send to the United States, they were going to get the death penalty. And, of course, Biden didn't pick that up. I had that deal all done. It was all wrapped up. We were going to have it done. And then the election went, let's put it nicely, didn't go the proper way. I'm trying to be nice about it. It was rigged. And we had an incompetent president elected, and he never followed up on that deal.
I'm trying to be nice about it.
But he should have followed up. Because if they got the death penalty, they wouldn't be sending fentanyl to Mexico, Canada, and other places.
Mr. President, how much will
We're thinking about that too. We're talking about a tariff of 10% on China based on the fact that they're sending fentanyl to Mexico and Canada.
When did you write that letter to,
How
sir?
soon on those tariffs?
Probably February 1st is the date we're looking at. For Mexico and China, we're talking about approximately 25%.
Gaza ceasefire, are you planning to travel to the Middle East soon?
We're thinking about going to the Middle East, not yet. We have a thing called the hostages are coming back going on right now, and they are coming back. Some of them have been very damaged. You look at the young lady with her hand practically blown off. You know how that happened, right? Did you know how that happened? When you find out, you're not going to be too happy because it was terrible. But the hostages are starting to come back. If I weren't here, they wouldn't be back ever. They would have never come back. They would have all died. If this were done a year earlier, if Biden would have done this deal a year and a half, 2 years ago, or frankly, it should have never happened. October 7th should have never happened. Nobody should be dead. But through weakness, they allowed it to happen, and then it was a disaster from them. But You go back just 6 months ago, many of these young people were living. You know, young people don't die like that. They're just dying. And young people aren't dying at 22 and 23 years old. They don't die. But now they're dying. And you wonder why they're dying. They're being killed. And they have been killed. But they say 6 months ago, you would have had 11 more living hostages. Think of that. 6 months ago. But Biden couldn't get it done, and it was only the imposition that I put on as a deadline that got it done. But it's a very sad situation. It should have never happened. I'll tell you, 2 things should have never happened. 3 things: inflation should have never happened. It would have never happened, except for what they did to energy and their crazy spending. And Ukraine would have never happened. Never. By the way, Russia never would have gone into Ukraine. I had a very strong understanding with Putin that it would have never, ever happened. He disrespected Biden. Very simple. He disrespects people. He's smart. He understands. He disrespected Biden. And also, the Middle East would have never happened because Iran was broke. They had no money. They had no money for Hamas. They had no money for Hezbollah. It would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. But it did happen. So this is the cards I've been given. And we're getting the hostages back. That would have never happened under Biden. They would have never come back. They were just dying not that slowly. They were dying or being killed. But that was what was happening.
Are you going to keep sending weapons to Ukraine, or are you going to turn off the tap soon?
Well, we're looking at that. We're talking to Zelensky. We're going to be talking with President Putin very soon. And we'll see how it all happens. We're going to look at it one thing I do feel, the European Union should be paying a lot more than they're paying, because under Biden, I mean, we're in there for $200 billion more. Now, it affects them more than it affects us. We have an ocean in between, right? Little thing called an ocean. The European Union should equalize. We're in there for $200 billion more than the European Union. I mean, what are we, stupid? I guess the answer is yes, because they must think so. But the European Union takes advantage of us tremendously on trade, and they now take advantage of, and always have. If I didn't get involved years ago, my first term, one of the first things I noticed was that they're not paying enough. They're not paying, and a lot of those countries weren't even paying. The NATO countries, they weren't paying. Only 7 out of 28 were paying. We were one of them, and Poland was one, and they had a few of them that were paying, and some were paying very proudly. Usually, the closer to the borderline of Russia they were, the faster they paid, okay? The ones that were further away tended not to pay so fast. And one thing on that, I think they should lift their number not to 2%, but to 5%. NATO should be at 5%, not at 2%. 2% is ridiculous, yeah.
Did you ask President Xi in your conversation about Ukraine, did you ask him to get involved
Yeah.
in helping settle that? Can you tell us
I
about
did,
that?
yeah. I said, you ought to get it settled, because he's not done very much on that. He's got a lot of power, like we have a lot of power. I said, you ought to get it settled. We did discuss it, yeah.
Mr. President, you launched your crypto coin the other day. Do you intend to continue selling products that benefit yourself personally while you're president?
Well, I don't know if it benefited. I don't know where it is. I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful. I haven't checked it. Where is it today?
You made a lot of money, sir.
How much?
Several $1 billion, it seems like, in the last several days.
Several billion? That's peanuts for these guys.
So you talked about the letter from President Biden. Can you give us some sense, broadly speaking?
Yeah, he wrote me a nice letter. I mean, I did open it last night. And I didn't know. Peter said, did you get the letter? I said, wait a minute, let's see the letter. It's sort of a tradition. You put it in the drawer, especially of the beautiful Resolute desk, right? And I opened the drawer, and there it was. It said to number 47. And it was a very nice letter. I mean, I could show it because I think it was a nice letter. Maybe I will. I think just basically it was a little bit of an inspirational type letter. You know, enjoy it, do a good job. Important, very important. How important the job is. But I think it was a nice letter. I think I should let people see it because it was a positive for him in writing it. I appreciated the letter.
Were security concerns at all a factor when deciding to move your inauguration indoors?
No, not at all. No, not at all. It was just cold. Look,
That's
if we
true.
would have, I just went out to the helicopter, right?
It is cold.
We said goodbye. That's a tradition. As long as before it used to be a stagecoach, and then helicopters came along. But that's been a tradition. You go out and you do that. And we stood there for 10 minutes, and I'll tell you what, people would not have been able to get through that day. That was cold. It was sort of interesting. Don't let the sun fool you. Tell me something. Sunny days can get very cold, can't they? Because that was so freezing yesterday. You couldn't have gotten through it. It would have been. And the answer is no, it wasn't security. With that being said, I thought the Capitol, the Rotunda, was beautiful. 72 degrees, unbelievable sound.
I thought so too. I thought it went really well.
Opera house. I could see people wanting to do it there rather than outside.
Why did you remove John Bolton's security clearance, sir?
Because I think there was enough time. It's we take a job. You take a job. You want to do a job. We're not going to have security on people for the rest of their lives. Why should we? I thought he was a very dumb person, but I used him well because every time people saw me come into a meeting with John Bolton standing behind me, they thought that he'd attack them because he was a warmonger. He's the one that got us involved, along with Cheney and a couple of others, convinced Bush, which was a terrible decision, to blow up the Middle East. We blew up the Middle East and we left. We got nothing out of it except a lot of death. We killed a lot of people. And John Bolton was, one of those guys, a stupid guy. But no, you can't have that for life. You shouldn't expect it for life.
That meeting that you mentioned with President Zelensky, will that take place here? And when and where will you meet with
I don't know. I mean, look, President Zelensky would like to have peace.
Also, Bolton wrote about stuff in his book. You should have written about.
He'd like to have peace, but it takes two to tango. We'll see what happens.
When will you meet with President Putin?
Anytime they want, I'll meet. I'd like to see that end. Millions of people are being killed, and they're being killed. It's a vicious situation, and they're now largely soldiers. A lot of people have been killed in the cities. They look like demolition sites. Buildings, massive buildings bombed and coming down. The thing with Ukraine is that many more people died than you're reporting. You're not reporting the real numbers, and I'm not blaming you for that. I'm blaming maybe our government for not wanting to release those numbers. Many more people died than what you know about. When those big buildings come down and they say 2 people were injured, no. Many people, thousands of people are being killed. But the real killing now is on the war front. It's a very flat land. And the only thing that stops a bullet is somebody's body. And you have young soldiers. So Russia's lost about 800,000 soldiers now. Ukraine's lost about 600 or 700,000. I think the numbers are low that they're giving out. But they've lost massive numbers of young soldiers. And that war should stop. It's very flat, it's beautiful farmland, and it's flat and really beautiful in a different kind of a way, but they don't have any protection. The only thing that stops a bullet is a body, and those bodies are stopping a lot of bullets, and they're being decimated, both sides.
Your conversation with President Xi, what did you tell him in terms of when to expect tariffs, and what can he do to avoid them?
About which one? About tariffs? We didn't talk too much about tariffs, other than he knows where I stand. Look, I put large tariffs on China. I've taken in hundreds of billions of dollars. Until I was president, China never paid not 10 cents to the United States. With me, they paid hundreds of $600 billion or so, or more than that even, of tariffs. And if I didn't do that, you wouldn't have a steel mill open in the United States right now. You wouldn't have one steel mill open in the United States. So what I did is I saved the steel industry. I saved other industries, too, with other tariffs. Other countries are big abusers also. It's not just China. China's an abuser, but the European Union is very, very bad to us. They treat us very, very badly. They don't take our cars. They don't take our cars at all. They don't take our farm products, essentially. They don't take very much. We have a $350 billion deficit with the European Union. They treat us very, very badly. So they're going to be in for tariffs.
Good.
It's the only way you're going to get back. It's the only way you're going to get fairness.
We'll take some euros.
You can't get fairness unless you do that. But
That's
the
right.
European Union's treated us very badly. But essentially everybody treats us badly.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, everybody treats us badly. Yes, go ahead. Because we allow them to. Because we've had stupid people doing this, and we can't have. I'd like to have these three people negotiate for us, just for 1 week, and we'd be a rich country again. But we'll be rich.
Mr. President, on AI data centers, will you rescind President Biden's executive order that opens up federal land?
On which centers?
On data centers, will you rescind President Biden's executive order that opens up federal lands for data centers and energy production?
No, I wouldn't do that. That sounds to me like it's something that I would like. I'd like to see federal lands opened up for data centers. I think they're going to be very important. Again, we have a lot of competition for that. So it's an honor to have these three great people, great CEOs and great geniuses, all three. It's an honor that they want to come to our country, but we're going to make it as easy as we can for them because other countries want them to. I'm going to have to go now. Thank you all very much. Thank you. No, but I think I might put it there. I think I'll get it right now. By the way, again, we won the young vote. I think I won it through TikTok. So I have a warm spot in my heart for TikTok. Okay? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Okay. All right, there you go. You got President Donald Trump wrapping up his first press conference, as we discussed he would, with questions that run the gamut. And we'll roll through them. We'll go for here. Let's see, it's a little after. All right, we'll go here for about 10, 15 minutes. I'll recap just quickly for anyone who's just joining us. Also, don't forget to send your super chats. You have 15 minutes. So for the next 15 minutes, we'll do super chats only. If you've got something you want to say, if you've got a question, if you've got a comment, if you want to say something mean to me, I don't care. As long as it's attached to a couple bucks, you're good to go. And again, that is the way to support the show, so we can continue to keep bringing you these fantastic press conferences live and these fantastic live reports from Washington, D.C., which, by the way, let me just point out, every now and then I go to a hotel room and there's no decent background. There's like, there's like a white wall. Last time I was in Washington, D.C., I was actually at the Yotel, and it was all white walls. And I was sitting behind this ugly white wall, and I had a blue shirt. Everyone said I looked like I was Dr. Evil in prison, which, again, you were right to say that because it was true. So now whenever I book a room, I try to figure out if there's some kind of accent. Well, look at this one here with the blue and the gold. It's fancy. And then this is just the window over here. But I try to find a room, which I never had to worry about before. I never had to worry about doing anything live from a hotel room. That's how Ben Shapiro rolls. Have you ever watched Ben Shapiro when he's traveling? He's in these really ornate suites. And I'm like, God, what a diva. He's in a suite. But then I realized, no, he's not in a suite. I mean, yes, he is, but he's not a diva. He's just working. He needs a table. He's probably got 2 or 3 people there executing his show for him. He needs a photographer, and he's got to have a nice background. And he can't just get that in like a regular, 2-queen double. Anyway, I digress. So basically, if we want us to keep doing these shows and traveling around and keeping you informed and entertained at the same time, super chats are welcome and encouraged and necessary. So you can take a couple minutes now. Rumble rants too. We'll take either one of those as we wrap up. So President Donald Trump, basically what he said was, he came out and he said, we're going to have $500 billion worth of infrastructure. Massa from SoftBank, I forget his last name. Massa from SoftBank last week, 2 weeks ago, said he was going to bring $100 billion to Mar-a-Lago. He came back with $400 billion more. Larry Ellison from Oracle, he said he's going to invest in this along with the guy, I forget his name, who does ChatGPT, the OpenAI guy. And these are the 3 guys that have now pledged money and time and effort and technology. And they're going to build all of these data centers. They're going to bring all of this money, and they're going to have the technology housed in the United States of America, which is a blow to China. This is a blow. China wants to be the technology epicenter of the world. China wants to be the place where all of the, Indian scientists go and all of the Indian engineers go to build their massive computer programs and their AI technologies and their chatbots and everything else. They want that because they know, A, there's money in it, but more so there's power. If you're the country that controls AI, if you're the country that controls technology, then you control the future. And AI, let's be honest. Okay, I'm going to be 100% honest here and keep those super chats coming because that's the trade-off. I'm going to be honest with you. It's not just medical technology. It's also military technology. Yes, It's nice to hear Larry Ellison say, oh, you know how Joe Biden talked about the cancer moonshot all the time and how he was going to cure cancer? Well, guess what? AI can actually do that. AI can take all of your symptoms and your family history, and it can put them all together, and it can make suggestions, and it can help doctors, and it can find the little cancer particles, the pre-particles that are floating around in your bloodstream so that we can root it out and we can find the truth. We can find out what ails you, and we can cure a lot of these diseases. That's great and all, and it sounds amazing, and it's quite a sales pitch. But the military technology is second to none. As soon as technology is created, the Chinese government is figuring out a military solution to it. The minute you think ChatGPT is good because it can write your kids' book reports, or it can do a YouTube, what do you call it, script for you, whatever it is you're wanting. You can go to ChatGPT, you can get to summarize anything. It can write your bio for LinkedIn. I get it. It'll write your resume. Sure. That's all well and good. That's all fun. But as soon as something like that happens, China's thinking, how do we use this to our military advantage? How do we use this to become an even bigger threat to the rest of the world? Because if you're a bigger threat, you have more power. If people are threatened by you and your massive military technology and your massive arsenal of advanced weaponry that can strike anywhere, anytime, any place in the world, without notice, without warning, do massive destruction and not be a liability or a detriment to your own population, that's power. And that's what China wants. And that's why it's so important to keep it away from them and to keep it here in the United States. And what Donald Trump has done is he's smart. He's going out into the world, finding the richest people that can bring their money here to the United States, which not only aligns us with them, but also disaligns them with China. Because you're not going to invest, if you're this guy from SoftBank, you're not going to invest $500 billion in the United States and then go off and invest $500 billion in China too. That's a lot of money. And also it just doesn't, it's not like a political campaign where you're writing checks to both sides. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't actually know. Anyway, so that was the basis of the press conference. But then, of course, as soon as we got to questions, it was all about the January 6th protesters. It was about the pardons. I don't know who it was. They don't show the reporters anymore, which is smart, because in the first press conferences, when Donald Trump first came to office, they would cut the camera and they would show the reporters, and they would hand the microphone off and the reporter would get a microphone. And pretty soon, Donald Trump realized that people like Jim Acosta and others were going into the press briefing room because, and they were coming up with the most toxic, the most antagonistic, the most disrespectful and degrading questions they could come up with. And the reason they were doing that was because they knew they were going to have a microphone and the camera was going to be on them. And the more they could antagonize and the more they could terrorize Donald Trump and the more disrespectful they could be to him, the more they would set him off, the more he would yell at them, the more their face would be on TV, the more they would be talked about, the more publicity they would get, the better jobs they would get, and they'd make more money in the end. And unfortunately, it worked. But Donald Trump caught on to that pretty quickly. And you'll notice eventually there were no more microphones for the press. And that's why people were commenting saying, I wish I could hear the questions. Donald Trump doesn't want you to hear the questions. He wants you to hear the answers. Donald Trump's press conference is not to make stars out of the media. It's to make, it's to continue Donald Trump being, it's his show. He's the president. He's making the decisions. He has the answers. He has the microphone, nobody else. The camera doesn't show anybody else except Donald Trump. And that's the way it is. The now famous press conferences that he would do in front of the helicopter, which were annoying to the media because you hear this helicopter in the background, were great for Donald Trump because, again, there was one camera, it was on Donald Trump, and nobody else had a microphone. And when the press was yelling out questions, you couldn't even hear who it was half the time. So it was a way for Donald Trump to continue to be the star of his own show and block out all of the bit actors, which in this case are the media. Now, some of the answers he gave to the January 6th protesters, the one guy said, should these people who beat up cops or pepper sprayed cops or put a stun gun in the neck of a cop? I mean, again, Donald Trump pointed out that these people, they're not sitting at home on house arrest. They're not on probation. For 4 years, they have been in a prison. And he's right, the prison's awful. Even this morning, I read that the guards were not honoring the pardons. Because they don't want these people to leave. They're very biased. They're very politically motivated, and they want to continue to punish these people for their peaceful protest on January 6th. Some of them, yes, went to Nancy Pelosi's desk and put their feet up. That guy's out, by the way. But look, in the grand scheme of things, the sentencing that was given to it's all about sentencing at this point. It's not about whether or not you were right or wrong. Should you attack a cop? No. Were the sentences harsh? Yes. Should a lot of these people be in jail? No. Should a lot of these people be in jail for 4 years? No. Should anyone be treated the way that a lot of these people were treated in this particular penitentiary? Absolutely not. And Donald Trump realizes that. So he goes, look, it's been 4 years. They spent all this money on lawyers. Their lives have been destroyed. Their families have been destroyed. Their wives have left them. Their children despise them. They've been ripped apart. They've lost their jobs, their dignity. Whenever you Google their names, you know what comes up? January 6th. And so now he's saying, I'm pardoning all these people, and they've served their time. And there are a lot of people out there. He's right. There's a lot of illegal immigrants who commit crimes and are let off with a warning. There's murderers out there and thugs and people in New York and people in Portland. And he keeps bringing up Seattle, which people don't even realize that whole, what was it? The demilitarized zone or what was it? The Chaz, it was called. It was called the autonomous zone. They called it the autonomous zone. And it was 6 square blocks of Seattle that these people took over. And the mayor and the governor and every other elected official in the state of Washington allowed them to do it. They said, oh, it's a summer of love. And then people started dying inside of the autonomous zone. And that's when the cops went in and said, okay, enough is enough. But those people weren't charged. They weren't put away. Those people didn't suffer any consequences. Then he was asked a couple of other questions. Oh, let me shout out a couple Rumble Rants quick, and then I'll get to the other questions, the ones that I thought were really interesting. G.A. Odom, what are your... Oh, wait, we already read that one. Oh, Carla K. Clennon, $50. Wow. Thanks for all you do behind the scenes. Always enjoy your shows, but that hat still makes you look like a rapper. LOL. Carla, that's exactly what I'm hoping. That's what I was going for. Thank you so much, Carla, for your generous $50 Rumble Rant. We appreciate that. And I appreciate the compliment. Although I know you weren't complimenting me. Here, I'll take it off for the last little bit of the show. Because I need to give my head a break too. My head needs to breathe a little bit. It gets a little, you'd think that with no hair, it would be, it gets really, it doesn't matter. Anyway, so, but Carla, that is very super generous. We really do appreciate it. Also, I'd like to point out that one of the questions he got, which I thought was really interesting, was about his Trump meme coin, which skyrocketed and made billions of dollars for President Donald Trump, made millions for other people, and then it tanked. And a lot of people now have lost money. I bought some at like $60, which was dumb. I think it's now worth less than I bought it for. That's all I know. But basically what happens is they asked him about it, and Donald Trump, I loved his answer. He goes, I don't know. How's it doing? What's it at? And the guy goes, you've made billions of dollars. And Donald Trump goes, oh, that's lunch money to these guys. So he kind of brushed it off. A lot of people they're making a big deal about Donald Trump making money off of his name before he was president, which he was. The meme coin went live before he was inaugurated, but after he was elected. And this is gearing up. Everyone's talking about the emoluments clause. The emoluments clause is about how you can profit yourself from your works in office, not directly, not like Nancy Pelosi and her husband investing in stocks, but in other ways. And that's something that a lot of people are bringing back up. Disney up, boiler up, $2 super chat, LL Cool K. Oh, well, now I got to put my hat back on. That's right. Ladies love Cool K. Brandy, thank you I appreciate that. Keep the super chats coming. We'll go for a few more. We'll go for like 10 more minutes. So if you have a comment, if you have a question, if there's anything you want to know, if you want to, come up with another cool rapper name, by all means, whatever you want to do, you can do so. We'll keep popping your super chats up here in just a minute. They did ask questions also. They harped on the pardons a lot. They started to talk about, some of the other instances that were going on. He mentioned the police who he's going to be pardoning as well. They mentioned Ukraine and Vladimir Putin, and would he continue to give money to Ukraine, which, by the way, it's one of those dumb questions again. Like, you're not going to answer. It's like the Tom Homan question. You're not going to give away your strategy. You're not going to say, I want this war to end. The war never should have started. I'm going to negotiate with Putin. But, oh, by the way, yes, I'm going to keep giving money to Ukraine, because guess who's watching this press conference? Vladimir Putin. And if Vladimir Putin hears, well, then I'm definitely not going to pull out of Ukraine if you're going to keep giving them money, then there goes your entire negotiating platform. Florida Trumper wrote MAGA. Oh, there we go. Let me get it. Can I plug my wife's small business? She sells chemical-free candles, car fresheners, clay jewelry, custom 3D prints, and more. Sassy Leopard Gifts is what it is. SassyLeopardGifts.net. Yes, for $20, you can pimp your wife's SassyLeopardGifts.net website. And thank you so much. Thank you so much for that. And good luck and congratulations to your sassy wife or your sassy leopard wife. Wait, what was it? You know what? Never mind. Anyway, but then there was, of course, the Donald Trump just going off on his own tangents. Whenever he got on a topic he wanted to talk, he talked about the water and the smelt again. He talked about the Delta smelt. He talked about how the water was, being mismanaged and mistreated in California and how people were suffering. And that was something that's something that he always likes to discuss, and he always likes to bring up. So it's interesting how that will continue. And these press conferences, like I said, they're whatever the announcement is, there will always be a press conference on the end of it. It started at like 5:30. It went for like an hour. And Donald Trump made his announcement, and then he took a bunch of questions, and he didn't run from anything. He only called one reporter a horrible person, which I was shocked. He's easing into it. There was one reporter in there who he referred to as a horrible person and fake news, but it's just his first day back. That'll ramp up. That'll ramp up a little bit more. He talked about the meeting he had with Mike Johnson and John Thune and how well that went. And it looks like we're going to have probably more of those meetings in the future, and hopefully some kind of bill here before too long. But anyway, listen, I got to get wrapped up. We've got the 47 Daily tomorrow, and then, of course, Mark Kaye Saves the Republic at noon 15-ish. Hopefully I'll be able to get out of here sometime tomorrow. I'm not really sure, so I'm going to go check on my flight. But thank you guys for coming back. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for all of your super chats. Thanks for all of your Rumble rants. Oh, we got one Rumble rant here from 550 Tractor Plow Operator. He wrote, Mark, don't forget to stop by John Rutherford's office for a preview. Remind him Americans want common sense leadership, and he's not that, and you'll take care of the office. You know what? I'm going to head there right now. I'm going to head there. Hey, thanks so much for that. We appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. I will see you tomorrow. LL Cool K. Peace. Sorry, let me try that again. Let me try that again without laughing. LL Cool K. Peace.